Baba Shuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Time to rise and meet the challenge. Babashuaib is calling you out. Meet Babashuaib, a correctional officer with a mission. Today he's throwing down the gauntlet to the mushriks, no more holding back. With his logo shirt and cap, Babashuaib sits tall and confident. He says, "The time for action is now. It's time to rise, to push past limits, and to become the best versions of ourselves." Babashuaib believes in the power of determination and resilience. His challenge is simple. Stand up, face your fears, and conquer them. Every day is a new opportunity, he says. An opportunity to grow stronger, to be better, and to leave a mark on the world. So, are you ready to accept Babashuaib's challenge? Are you ready to rise above and beyond? Join Babashuaib and let's show the world what we're made of, because the only limit is the one you set for yourself.
They said a Quranist is somebody who believes in the Quran alone. No, that's not correct. It is not a correct definition. If you say believe in the Quran, no. Quran chapter 2, verse 2 to verse 5 gives you the classification of a believer. Right? Where it says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, as guidance for those who are pious. Then it gives you the classification of who these believers are. The pious are. They believe in what was revealed before the prophet and what is revealed to us. They believe that I was distinguishing this understanding that we follow the Quran alone for guidance in Islam. We follow the Quran alone for guidance in Islam. But it doesn't mean I cannot believe in something which is from the past. If it makes sense and the Quran confirms it, I believe. Are you getting my point? When God spoke about creating man and woman, and then from them they start procreating, multiplying, the Quran gives you a similar concept in Quran chapter 4, verse 1, right? So if you come with a statement claiming that this is a statement from God in any book you have in the past, I don't care whether it has contradiction, falsehood, lies. So far as the Quran confirms it, I know that is the word of God. That statement is the word of God because God confirms his own words. Are you getting my point? So we believe in what was revealed in the past if the Quran confirms it, because Quran chapter 5 verse 48 tells you the Quran comes to confirm what was before it and to dominate, right? To govern over the previous statement or whatever God has revealed in the past. So if somebody is claiming they have the word of God and I open the Quran and the Quran is confirming that statement, I believe. Are you getting my point? But the best book for me to follow is the Quran. So if I'm following the Quran, doesn't mean I believe in the Quran alone. I believe in what it confirms, but I follow the Quran alone for guidance. That is the difference. So sometimes people don't understand this concept. So when you go with the flow of the mushriks, when they say you are a Quranist and you are quick to say yes, just like in this modern day and age, when you go somewhere and somebody asks you, are you a Muslim? The moment you say yes, they are classifying you as an Arabian. They think automatically you are an Arab just because you say yes, you are a Muslim. Because the media depiction of what a Muslim is what you see by ISIS, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram. You mentioned this is what they classify as Muslims, the Talibans, the Mujahids, and so on. They classify these entities as Muslims. Are you getting my point? So sometimes be mindful of your environment and the way you answer questions. Somebody asks you, are you a Muslim? Say, I'm a believer in God. I believe in one God. And I submit to one God. That's it. You see, you simplify the answer instead of just saying, yes, I'm a Muslim, because then you are giving the person the need or the advantage to look at you in a different perspective or in a certain perspective, which maybe you are not part of that ideology. Are you getting my point? So learn this tactic on how to answer questions. Don't be quick to answer the question of a deviant person, especially if they have an agenda against you. So when you go anywhere and somebody is saying, are you a Quranist? Don't be Quranist. God never even asked you in the Quran to become a Quranist. You understand? Because if we have to use that mindset, even the prophet, then that means the prophet should be classified as a Quranist because he never followed any other book outside the Quran for guidance. Are you getting my point? The prophet only followed the Quran for his guidance. Yes. So if he followed only the Quran, can we classify him as a Quranist? You hear the mushrik saying no. If no, then if I'm also following his footsteps, why then you classify me as a Quranist? Hello? Because he never follows Sahih Bukhari. He never follows Sahih Muslim, Jami at-Tirmizi, Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan an-Nasai, and Sunan Ibn Majah. He never followed all these Kutubu Sitta that you concocted for yourself. He never followed them. You created these things, and then you assigned it as Sahih. The Prophet has no idea. As a matter of fact, the best collection of the Hadith books you guys follow, which is Sahih al-Bukhari, he came 200 years after the Prophet. He started writing. And guess what? He started even writing the Hadith book at the age of 16. And seriously, you are taking such a, a teen to be the one writing the guidance for you. And what was the reason? They say he said the Prophet in a dream, and then the Prophet was telling him, hey, you have to write Hadith. Hey, these mushriks, you can do tuli, papa. Huh? You understand? So some of the things they say do not add up. If you are going with the flow when people are saying things, you'll be classified as one of such. So don't go with the flow when they are trying to point fingers and say, are you a Quranist? Don't go with the flow. Tell them you don't know what Quranist is. Just hypothetically tell them, what is a Quranist? Just ask them. And let them define what a Quranist is. As soon as they define, then say, was the Prophet a Quranist? He will say, no. So if no, the Prophet was not a Quranist, then by that criteria, why do you classify me, who claims to follow the book of God for guidance, as a Quranist? Then he will now explain himself, say, oh, that is how we classify people who are Hadith rejectors. By the way, they gave us the name Hadith rejectors. I wonder which Hadith. Because the last time I checked, the original Hadith was the Quran, or is the Quran. Yes. Quran chapter 52 verse 34. God says, فَلْيَأْتُوا بِحَدِيثٍ مِثْلِهِ إِن كَانُوا صَادِقِينَ. Then let them bring an hadith, or a hadith like it. Like what? A masculine pronoun, which is the Quran. Like it, if they should be truthful. So ask the mushriks, can you bring any hadith like the Quran? They are hadith books. Do you even see Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim on top of it? Do you see where? It's not like the Quran. The hadith books are unlike the Quran. Inconsistencies, contradictions, fabrications. You understand? They concocted a lot of things. But in order for somebody to lie to you, the first thing they do is they try to bring some little bit of truth, which they have taken from the Quran. Then they present it to you before they mix the falsehood. So God says in Quran chapter 2 verse 42, وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. It says, do not cover the truth with falsehood, or we can say mix the truth with falsehood. And then he says, and cover the truth while you know, or conceal the truth while you know, because that is what a liar does. A liar only hides the truth when he knows it. Yes, because why will you hide the truth? It's only because you are a liar. And that is exactly what sectarians do. So when I say Hadith rejectors are not Muslims, they themselves, they reject the Hadith. They themselves. So as a matter of fact, babashuaib is going to give you a particular Hadith here. If you live next to any mushrik, any sectarian, who is a Sunni, a Shia, You know, the Shia, sometimes the Shiites, they don't agree with some of the Sunni collections. But the majority of the people who are claiming to be the dominant force around the world are the Sunnis. So I'm going to quote a particular hadith. If you live next to a Sunni, please give it to them and tell them, this is what your book is propagating, right? So let's go. Let me put it on the screen. This particular hadith I'm going to quote, you can find it in Sunan Abi Dawud. So I'll put it on the screen so people can see it. I'm going to put it on the screen. It's Sunan Abi Dawud. If you go to sunnah.com, right? Sunnah.com has been very helpful. If you don't have sunnah.com, I have the PDF files for the hadith books. If you need it, kindly inbox me. I can send you the copies of the PDF version of the hadith books, right? So I take you to sunnah.com and let's see what this particular hadith says. So that is 4,356, right? Yes, 4,356. And let me share the screen. And here is the hadith. Yeah, I don't know. Can you see the page? For those on Facebook and YouTube, can you kindly see? Yeah, you can see, right? Yeah. Yeah, just a second. Yeah, just a second. So when you go to is it Sunan Abi Dawud? That's the one I put on the screen here. This is the reference for the hadith. It is Sunan Abi Dawud 4,356, right? Oh, sorry. Thank you, MFG. Thank you. Let me open it wider like this. Can you see it? So it's Sunan Abi Dawud 4,356. 4,356. And in the chain of narration, there is not Imam Al-Albani. They classify this as Sahih. It is Sahih for the Sunnis. I know they do cherry picking, but it is Sahih, right? Now, this particular hadith, this is it on the screen. This particular hadith, it says, it is the what? Prescribed punishment al-kitab al-hudud. Kitab al-hudud. Al-hudud. When we say hudud, it's more like a limits of something. But then they say the book of limits. So the book of punishment, they are translating it. The chapter is ruling on who apostatizes, concerning apostates. Now it says, Abu Burda said, a man who turned back from Islam was brought to Abu Musa. He invited him to repent for 20 days or about. Mu'ad then what? Came and invited him to embrace Islam, but he refused. So he was beheaded. He was beheaded. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, let me open one particular thing here. Is it? Bear with me for a second. I want to just put something here. Dark. Is it here? The last time I did a lecture and I quoted one particular hadith, right? And the particular hadith is talking about killing somebody who changes his religion, right? If you change your religion, so let's say when you belong to Sunni and you change from being a Sunni to another religion, they have to kill you according to their own hadith. It says, "Man baddala dinahu faqtulu." The hadith is found in Sahih al-Bukhari 3017. But this particular one I have on the screen, that you're watching right now, it's talking about beheading somebody. And it is the hadith is saying a man who turned back from Islam was brought to Abu Musa. He invited him to repent for what? 20 what? For 20 days. Or about. Then he says Mu'adh then came and invited him. That meaning again. But he refused. So he was beheaded. Now, these are the things these kind of books are propagating, right? This. So in Sahih al-Bukhari 3017, let me show you where this kind of issues of beheading or killing somebody comes emanated from. So I'm going to show you from Sahih al-Bukhari 3017. This is the hadith on the screen. It says, fighting for the cause of God. They call it jihad. Then it says, the chapter is not to punish with Allah's punishment. But then it goes ahead to tell us in the hadith. It says, Ali burnt some people. Listen, Ali burnt some people. He burnt them. And this news reached Ibn Abbas, who said, had I been in his place, I would not have burnt them. As the Prophet said, don't punish anybody with Allah's punishment. No doubt, I will have killed them for the Prophet. For the Prophet said, if somebody changes his religion, meaning he discusses his religion, the correct word is man baddala dinahu, meaning to change, to substitute your religion, right? The correct word is baddal, this one. For those who can see the screen, man baddala dinahu, then he says faqtulu. Whoever changes his religion, then what? Kill him. Let me see here. Yeah. Whoever changes his religion, kill him. This is what the hadith books are actually propagating to the people. So now, if anybody next to you calls you an hadith rejector, please do me a favor. Please, let me put this very big. You see these two hadiths I just quoted. Sunan Abi Dawud 4356 and Sahih al-Bukhari 3017. If you are dealing with anybody who calls you a hadith rejector, whether be it your family member, be it a popular person, be it an imam, be whoever it may be, please write these two hadiths I just quoted. Write them down. Ask this person publicly. Don't hide this question to them. Ask them publicly and let them see the hadith. Mention it. I gave you the evidence. It's on the screen. You saw it. Then you ask them the question. This hadith, do you believe in it? He will tell you yes. Do you believe it should be carried out? They will say yes. That is, if the person is not a hypocrite to the Hadith book, he will be admitting. The hypocrite ones will say, yeah, you know, they will do straw man arguments. They will try to change the discussion. Please place an emphasis on it and tell him that this is your Hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari 3017, saying whoever changes his religion or discards his religion, as you guys claim, apostate, meaning a Muslim has decided to change his religion, to go out of that part of mushrik, part of Islam, not the real Islam. The real Islam is following the book of God, right? But then the fake Islam is following the books of their idols. So that Islam that they have created. Now, if you ask the person, if I discard you from your religion, from being a Sunni, and I decided to follow the Quran alone, do I become an apostate? The person will say yes, because look, let me tell you for a fact, these people hate us more than they hate Christians. The Sunnis, the whoever who follows the Hadith books, the external sources, they hate a Quran alone follower more than they hate a Christian. I'm not joking. To be honest, I'm not joking with you. Yes, they hate you so much, more than they hate a Christian. Your family member can stop talking to you because you claim you are going to follow the Quran alone. They can hate you. They can stop talking to you. Are you getting my point? So now, then you quote this hadith to them. We are going to show them the evidence that they themselves are hadith rejectors. That's why I say write it down. Then you show it to them. This is what your hadith is saying, that whoever changes his religion, you have to kill him. Faktulhu. How do you kill him? By beheading the person. So they believe in beheading the person. If that is the case, ask, I'm telling you, if it's an imam, ask him. If it is your family member, your father, ask them this question. Bring the hadith to the table. Ask them. Or tell them if they think you are lying, they should take it to their imam. They should quote the hadith to the imam and let the imam explain. Because even though they say hadith books are explaining the Quran, still they have their scholars who will still explain the hadith book again. So the explanation of the explanation still has an explanation to be done. So then you ask them, if that is the case, if you yourselves are not hadith rejectors, please, are you going to carry out this punishment? If it is in Ghana, ask them, in Ghana, are you going to do this? If it is, I know Nigeria in the north, they might do it. Boko Haram, you know, the Kano side. Are you getting the point? So, if you are dealing with these mushriks and they call you hadith rejectors, this is how to silence them from that naivety of calling you hadith rejectors. And then to say you are not a Muslim. Because to be honest, if these people have the chance in a community where they claim they are Muslims, hypothetically they are mushriks, but if they claim they are Muslims, and if they have the chance to get you, they will execute you with this hadith. Not with the Quran. Quran never says you should kill somebody when they change their religion or discard their religion. It never says that. Wallahi, it never says that. The Quran doesn't tell you to force people in Islam. No. La ikra fi din. Qad tabayyana rushd min al-ghayy. Yes. Chapter 2, verse 256. There is no compulsion in the deen, in the religion. The right way, the right guidance has been made, distinguished from the way of error. So it is a person's choice to decide where he wants to choose and what he wants to practice. So Quran chapter 18 verse 29, God is telling the messenger to say, "Qul al-haqqu min rabbikum, faman sha'a falyu'min, wa man sha'a falyakfur." He says the truth is from your Lord. So whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. You don't force people to believe. Faith is a gift that people can get. Some people have to work for it to get faith, but some people just get it as a gift. Some people didn't choose to be guided. They are just there and the guidance comes to them and they cannot reject it. So that's a gift. So if God has presented you with faith and you hold up to it, you don't force other people to believe in what you believe. It's a choice. You give them the choice. You tell them. You give them, because it is, look, one thing about faith is, it's not everything about faith you can prove. And that is why it's a gift. It is not everything about faith that you can prove to the next person. If you believe there are angels and somebody asks you, prove to me there is angel, how do you tell me, how do you prove the angel? Now tell me, you are going to use Wi-Fi, or what are you going to use to prove the angel next to you? You can't. You understand? So there are certain things. It's based on faith. You believe in what God is saying. Okay, I believe. Simple. What is the case? Me believing, you not believing, doesn't reduce anything in my life, doesn't do me any harm. I believe, fine, I choose to believe. What is the problem? You understand? But then God has given us morals, ethics, certain things we have to follow to better our lifestyle. So I take that lesson from the Quran. So Quran chapter 39 verse 55, God says you should follow the best of what he has revealed to you. The best of what he has revealed to you. So I decide to follow the best from the guidance of God, which will, impact my life. You see some stupid person asking you, so do you believe Moses parted the sea with a stick? Okay, I believe. So what? No, I believe. No, so what? I've never seen it. You, the one rejecting, have you seen it? No. You decide to reject it. That's up to you. Are we going to fight over that? No, I'm not going to fight with you. Why should I fight? At the end of the day, you didn't see it, I didn't see it. But I believe. Just like you can tell me your father has 1 million in the bank, I didn't see it. I might choose to believe. Yes, I might choose to believe you because you say you have 1 million. But I never seen you with the 1 million. So believing is a choice. I choose to believe, fine. You understand? But we have certain things which gives us the moral ethics, the conducts, the ethics that we can follow to better our environment. Those things you take from the Quran as guidance. That's why it's a guidance for mankind. God is not here to convince you by force to believe that Jesus was born miraculously without a father. It's not that. Those aspects are based on faith. I can believe. Yes, I believe. Because with God, all things are possible. Yes, God can do that. You get my point? With God, Moses can do wonders. He can make a stick become a snake. It's not impossible. We see magicians even doing them in Africa. It exists. If you think I'm joking, take a trip to Benin. Take a trip to Togo, Benin. Go and witness for yourself. It exists. Of course, most of them are liars. Some of them uses the jinn to do all this. And it exists. I'm not joking with you. Black magic, sorcery exists. If it never existed, the magicians who were with Pharaoh will never challenge Moses with their black magic. It exists. It's there. You understand? Yes, somebody say go to Nigeria. Yes, in parts of West Africa, you go. Sorcery is there. It exists. So let me play one video here of this guy, based on the claim he's making, based on the topic we are talking about today. But before that, I have one video. Let me see. I have one video here from this comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to this comedian.
Recommended in order for your dua to be accepted to do what the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. He said that every dua is blocked between the earth and the heavens unless you pray and offer salutation to the Prophet. So we say in the beginning, we praise Allah, we say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, and then we make our dua. If you conclude your dua with another salutation, this is good, but it is not a must.
Yeah, you heard what Asim Al-Hakim was saying, right? Okay. Now listen again.
It is highly recommended in order for your dua to be accepted to do what the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. He said that every dua is blocked between the earth and the heavens unless you pray and offer salutation to the Prophet. So we say in the beginning, we praise Allah, we say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, and then we make our dua. If you conclude your dua with another salutation, this is good, but it is not a must.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Asim Al-Hakim speaking. Yeah, salam to you, Marwan Divach. Yes, you're welcome. You heard what Asim Al-Hakim is talking about. What is this? So Asim is trying to tell you that when you are making the dua without adding the prophet to the dua, your dua is blocked.
It is highly recommended, in order for your dua to be accepted, to do what the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. He said that every dua is blocked between the earth and the heavens unless you pray and offer salutation to the Prophet. So we say in the beginning, we praise Allah, we say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, and then we make our dua. If you conclude your dua with another salutation, this is good, but it is not a must.
God have mercy upon us. God have mercy upon us.
Guys, wallahi, why is it funny? You see, this is the reason why they are telling you not to use your reasoning, not to use your logic, your common sense in the religion. Yeah, this is the main reason why they tell you not to do that. Because doing that, you get to question most of the things they are telling you, and some of these stupid things they are actually advocating. You get to question all this. So that is why they tell you don't use your common sense. In Islam, it's not about your common sense. You have to just follow what you are told and don't question this, don't say this, don't do that, don't do this. So you don't have the right to use your reasoning over all these things these people are saying. That is a main problem. This guy is literally going against Quran chapter 10 verse 18. And I'm going to show you the verse on the screen. Salam Liman Imrana. Quran chapter 10 verse 18. Let me put the verse on the screen. In Quran chapter 10 verse 18, this is what God says in the Quran. He says, and they worship besides God what neither... Oh, sorry, let me put it bigger. And they worship besides God what neither harms them nor benefit them. And they say, these are our intercessors in front of God. Say, are you informing God of what he does not know in the heavens nor on earth? Are you informing God? Glory be to him, for he is what? Exalted above what they associate or they idolize. Apart from Quran chapter 10 verse 18, I take you to Quran chapter 3 verse 79. In Quran chapter 3 verse 79, it says, it is not for a man that God should give him the book, the judgment, and prophethood. Then he will say to the people, be my servants besides God. But be spiritual leaders through what you have been taught of the book and through what you have studied. This is what the man who has been sent by God as a prophet, who has been given judgment and the scripture, this is what he will say. He will rather say, be spiritual leaders through what you have been taught and what you have studied. He will not come and tell you, be my servant. In order for you to pray to God, pray through me, just like the Christians do for Jesus, right? Everything ask in my name, and pray through me in the name of the Father, the Son, those things. The Christians have this, from the Bible. Now, God is telling you it is not for a man that God has given him the book, the judgment, and the prophethood, and he will come and say these things to you, to be his servant. So now you are telling me when we pray to God, there's a what? An obstacle in between us and God, between the heavens and the earth. So unless I send praises to the prophet, unless I send salawat, you say they will translate it as blessings. Unless I send blessings to the prophet, before my prayer can now reach God, whilst God tells you he's closer to you than your jugular vein. So you say, my prayer will now reach God from where? No, let's try to understand this. God in the Quran says he is closer to you than your jugular vein. Look, this is a verse here. Yeah, salam, Sister Shifa, you're welcome. So peace to you. Here, I'm going to show you something. In Quran chapter 57, verse 4, let me tell you where God is. Where can you find God? In Quran chapter 57, verse 4, God says he is the one who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. And then sat firmly on the throne. He knows whatever penetrates into the earth and whatever comes out of it, and whatever descends from the heaven and whatever ascends therein. Yeah? And he is with you wherever. Listen carefully. He is with you wherever you may be, and God is cognizant of whatever you do. He is with you wherever you may be, and God is cognizant of whatever you do. It doesn't stop there. In Quran chapter 2, verse 186, again, God says, and whenever my servant asks you, the prophet, about me, then indeed I am near. I answer the supplication of a supplicant when he invokes me. So let them respond to me and let them believe in me. Perhaps they will be well guided. All what babashuaib I just did right now was to quote the verses of God. Do you see the simple aspect of serving God? Instead of listening to these bozos who calls themselves scholars, and they are mushriks at the same times. They don't give you the evidence from God, but they speak from their whims and desires. God says he's with you wherever you are. So are you telling me the God who is with me, who is even closer to me than my jugular vein? So now I have to pray to God. I have to make a supplication. So I have to say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad first, before the God who is closer to me can now listen to my prayer. Hey, Asim al-Hakim. Your name, Al-Hakim means the wise. Wallahi, but you are not wise. Wallahi, that man is not wise. I'm not joking. He is not wise. He said he is not a scholar. Listen to what he said.
Akhi, when I talk about Islamic issues, I don't talk from my own self. I'm not a scholar. I don't come up and think, yeah, I think this is halal, this is haram.
Do you see? He is not wise at all. Yeah, the guy who loved beer. Yeah, he loved beer a lot. Yeah, salam to you, Iyad Bilal. Salam. Somebody is asking, he says, Baba Shuaib, what can we do to save our brothers and sisters in Palestine? One of the things we can do is only to give aid, to give a helping hand to help those who have been able to evacuate, who have been evacuated, or who have been able to exit from that spot to enter the neighboring countries. That's the only thing you can do to help, because we are not in the power to stop the war. The elites are in charge of that. It is only we, the people, who can give the pressure to the elites to stop the war. The best we can do is to help save and feed those who are in need. That's all you can do. You understand? So we don't just sit far away and say, I'm praying for Palestine. No. Those there, God is seeing what is happening. He can hear them. So it is not about you sitting down, you pray. No. The best you can do is you help them with the resources you have, charity-wise, or you understand. Some organizations are trying to help out. Some people who are there are trying to help out. Recently, Mohammed from God organized a charity fund because he has been able to enter a zone where he can actually help out people he found around him who are in need. You understand? In that zone, around that zone. But then if you say, let's do something, what can you do? The elite are in charge. It is they who have to take a phone and make a call, a decision for things to change. You and I can never make an impact in what is happening there unless we can demonstrate. But the demonstration, if the leader says they are not listening to you, there's nothing you can still do. You understand? So the best is we can do is to offer, the charity and support to help those who have actually been able to escape from the war zone. Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Shifa. Okay, so let's continue. Let me not lose the thought chain. Concerning Asl al-Hakim, what he just said, if you are taking him seriously, there's something wrong with your brain, to be honest. If you take that comedian serious, wallahi, there's something wrong. Yeah, salam to you, Abdullah Murtala. So let's go to the next video. The next video has to do with other bozos like this. Let me show you the other bozos. There's a guy who called himself Hadith disciple, the disciple of Hadith. Let's listen to this guy.
People who reject hadiths, directly or indirectly, no doubt they are not Muslim. That's number one. Secondly, those who may not directly reject hadiths, but they say just be careful and so on and so forth. You ask them, okay, what's the problem that you have with hadiths? They say all of them aren't authentic, or some of them don't make sense. Many of them don't make sense, or we don't know when they were written down, or we don't know when they were recorded, or Imam al-Bukhari could have made a mistake, etc., etc., etc. All right, no problem. So we're going to now sit down and give you a basic ulum al-Quran exam, huh, Yunus? And we're going to see how much or how little you know about the Quran and its sciences. Who placed this surah here? When was this written like this? When was this revealed? When was this sit down? Who narrated this mode of narration? How many people are in the chain of narration? When did it become mutawatir? Who's Hafs? Etc., etc., etc.
Let me play the video once again. Then when they are asking these questions, they think they are making sense. And babashuaib is going to show you how nonsensical their arguments are. So watch.
So therefore, people who reject hadiths, directly or indirectly, no doubt they are not Muslim. That's number one.
So for people who reject hadiths with S at the end, directly or indirectly are not Muslims. The question is, which hadith? No, let's be honest here. Which hadith? Who reject which hadith? Because the last time I checked, you the scholars, so-called scholars or clerics or whatever you call yourself, you do reject some hadiths, even though they are classified as sahih. You reject them. Yes, you yourself, you reject hadiths. So now you are sitting there because you have eaten enough food with your big lips. Now you are saying who rejects hadith indirectly or directly are not Muslims. According to who? No, tell me, according to who? God or according to the Prophet? Where did he say that? Who rejects hadith directly or indirectly? Where? I wish I can get this kind of people one-on-one on a dialogue, one-on-one. And prove to us where did God say? Because Quran chapter 5 verse 44, God says, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Whoever does not judge by what God has revealed is a what? It's a kafir. Wallahi. So these guys who just sit after they have chopped all the charity funds given to them by the Saudis and so on, and then they are his big lips sitting there in front of the microphone and saying that these people directly or indirectly. Let me catch you one-on-one. Banzai.
One. Secondly, those who may not directly reject hadiths, but they say just be careful. And so
then he goes, secondly, he says those who might not directly reject hadith, but they will say be careful of what?
So on and so forth. You ask them, okay, what's the problem that you have with hadiths? So they say all of them are authentic.
Then you ask them, what is the problem you have with the hadith? Then you say all of them aren't authentic.
Or some of them don't make sense.
Some of them don't make sense. And then
many of them don't make sense.
Many of them don't make sense.
Or we don't know when they were written down. Or
we don't know when they are written down. Okay, he's just making up stuff just to go against the hadith rejectors. But let's go.
We don't know when they were recorded. Or Imam al-Bukhari could have made a mistake, etc., etc., etc. All right, no problem. So we're going to now sit down and give you a basic ulum al-Quran exam.
Now he says, we are going to sit down and give you the ulum al-Quran lesson. So let's check what he's going to say.
Yunus, and we're going to see how much or how little you know about the Quran and its sciences.
Quran and its sciences. I don't know if we are going to Isaac Newton's or we are going to Albert Einstein, or who should I call again? Let's wait and see.
Who placed this surah here?
Who placed this surah here? That's none of my business. I'm serious. Who placed this surah? That's none of my business. Do I need to know who placed the surah? No. It is none of my business, akhi. Wallahi, wallahi. It's who placed the surah here? None of my business. Wallahi. Let's go forward.
When was this written like this?
When was it written like this? Still none of my business. Can you imagine I go in front of God and God is asking me who wrote this surah? Who? Hey, when was this chapter 24 revealed? And God is going to quiz me on these dates. And these questions, is that the agenda of the book? Is that what the book is for? Let's continue.
When was this revealed? When was this sit down?
When was it revealed? Is that the assignment of the book? Is that why the book is here? When was this sit down? What? Why do I need to be asked those questions, and why do I need to answer them? Is that the agenda of the book?
Who narrated this mode of narration?
Who narrated this mode of narration? Is that part of the guidance? I don't need that. That's not the agenda.
How many people are in the chain of narration? When did?
How many people? It's none of my business. They all
They become mutawatir? Whose hafs, etc.
Whose halves? I don't give a damn whose halves is. That if you read chapter 1, if you read up to chapter 114, you will never find the name of halves in the chapters of the Quran. None of the chapters mention the name halves or warsh. It's not there. So now you are asking me questions which are external to the Quran. What matters is the Quran has reached me, and I'm going to give you the answer to that. Quran chapter 35, verse 31 to 32. I'm going to give you the answer to how the Quran got to me. And I don't give a damn who put the chapter here, who did this here. What matters is the book is complete and is in front of me. It's claiming to be from God. So I need to scrutinize the book. That's all I need. I don't need who did this, who wrote this, who put this, who did this. Hey, why? Look, why? Okay.
Etc., etc.
Etc., etc. No problem. Let's go to the verse of the Quran. Bozo, leave my screen. Leave my screen. Right, Bozo. Let's go to Quran. Now I'm going to show you a verse. Quran chapter 35, verse 31 to 32. Listen to the verse. God says, وَالَّذِي أَوْهَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ هُوَ الْحَقُّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِعِبَادِهِ لَخَبِيرٌ بَصِيرٌ. Then verse 32. ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ أَسْتَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمِنْهُمْ مقتصد, that is مقتصد, ومنهم سابق بالخيرات بإذن الله ذلك هو الفضل الكبير. So now the verse says, and what we have inspired to you, Muhammad, second person pronoun, he was the first to receive the Quran. What we have inspired to you of the book is the truth, confirming what was before it. Indeed, God to his servants is cognizant and conversant. Now, verse 32. Then we caused the book to be inherited, meaning the word awrathna here can be used as to transmit or to cause the book to be inherited. So then after the prophet, God says, then thumma, then we will cause the book to be inherited by those whom we have chosen among our servants. This is what God says. He will cause the book to be inherited. He didn't say, Prophet Muhammad, after you take the book and give it to Usman or give it to this group. No, God never said that. He says he will cause the book to be inherited. How the book will come about, we don't give a damn. God says he will do that. Why do I need to struggle with myself in order to know? Thank you, Alma Joseph, for the gift. In order to know, the book went through the sky, it flew in the hands of these, and these pages were eaten by the goat, and it went to this guy's under pillow. And hey, mushriks, why? Why? The simplicity is of what God is telling us here. Then we transmit the book to those we have chosen among our servants. He never said prophets should choose them. He never said prophets should leave it for his khalifas and whoever. No. That is how Quran got to you and I today. I don't give a damn where it passed through before reaching me. I don't care. Because God is alive. He is watching. He will make sure it will reach me. Just like when somebody is in the United States of America, listen carefully. Somebody is in the United States of America and he sends you a parcel in Africa. He used DHL or FedEx or UPS. DHL or FedEx or UPS will make sure the parcel reaches you. Yes, because DHL or FedEx know your destination. They know where you live. So they will make sure it is delivered. So if God, now God who is greater than FedEx and UPS and DHL can know my location and make sure it gets to babashuaib. What is my problem of knowing where my parcel passed through? So then they will ask you, did he go through Germany or France before reaching you? Do I give a damn where my parcel passed? What matters is my parcel came from USA and it got to me. That's all that matters. I received it. Mine is just to check. Who does it come from? Oh, it came from the sender. The sender is God. Oh, yeah. Let me check. Yes. That's it. I have the book of guidance. Do you understand? I have the good book of guidance in my hand. It's claiming to be from God. So now, this is where the case is easy. Look, listen what God says here. We will transmit the book to those we have chosen among our servants. Then among them is one who wrongs himself, and among them is one who is careful, that is in between, and among them is one who competes in good deeds by the permission of God. That is a great preference. But now check this verse. Quran chapter 10, verse 37. So after I have received this book from DHL or FedEx or UPS or the nearest library. Now listen what God is saying. After I've received the book, when they ask you, look, when every mushrik, any mushrik asks you, where did you get the book from? Just say the library, the nearest library. Because that is what a library is meant for, so that you can get the book. I got it from the library or DHL or FedEx. Okay. So now, if they don't like it, let them go and bend the sea. Now, this is what God is saying. When I open the book, which is coming from DHL or FedEx, it says, and this is not the Quran that could be invented by other than God. However, it is a confirmation of what was before it and an elaboration of the book. There is no doubt therein from the Lord of the worlds. So now I open this book claiming to be from God, and it's telling me this book is from God. Okay, I believe it's from God. What is your case? That I have to know who wrote the chapter, who joined the... Hey, mushriks. So you think God and his angels cannot do this? God even sent his angels to go to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy people. God sent his spirit to come in the human form to meet Maryam. God sent his angels to come in the human form to meet Abraham. Are you getting my point? God has sent his angels to appear in human form and meet his beloved servants. And you think the same God cannot use his angels in human form to protect his book? So it is Abi so and so who has to protect the book of God? Hey, why? The book is claiming to be protected. If you go to Quran chapter 50, this is the verse. If you go to Quran chapter 56 and you read from verse 77, I'm going to put the verse on the screen. This is the verse. God says, Innahu la Quran al-Karim fi kitabim maknun. Then he says, La yamassu illa al-mutahharun. It says, indeed, it is a noble reading in a protected book. Fi kitabim maknun. Do you see what God says? Kitabim maknun. So the book is a protected book. God never said the people, human beings, should protect the book. He never said that. Do you think God is sleeping? No, do you think God is sleeping? Listen to what he told the prophet. Quran chapter 10, verse 46. Listen what he told the prophet. And whether we show you, Muhammad, some of what we promised them, or cause you, Muhammad, to die, thus to us is their return, then God is a witness. Listen, God is a witness to what they do. So this God, who is a witness to what the people are doing after Muhammad, you think God will go asleep so people have to kill each other and fight over the Quran and say how to preserve the Quran? If Usman doesn't bend these copies and put it, it will not reach us because God is sleeping. Hey, Akhi, how did the Quran get to you? So if I don't know how it got to me, I cannot read it. Is that what you're saying? If we read the book and we see contradiction, then we put it to the trash. Babashuaib, I'm upholding this book because I didn't see contradictions. That's why I'm upholding it. Yes, it claims to be from God, and I'm convinced it's from God. That's why I'm holding it. So you think I need to believe in your garbage books before I can believe in the Quran? I beg your pardon. Let's go to the next comedian. Now listen to this comedian. People based in UK, you are familiar with this comedian. So let's listen to him.
Hadith.
Do you rely on Quran?
Yeah.
Was Quran given to you directly?
Yeah, I mean, no, not from Allah, obviously not.
Yeah, Sahaba memorize the Quran and they write it down and they send it and they pass it on to their students. So imagine now we have a Shi'i or so-called Qur'ani, yeah? Imagine we have so-called Qur'ani. Me and him were different about understanding of Islam. Allah gave us a solution, which is, if you're different amongst yourself, refer it back to Allah and His Messenger. These commandments, is it only for the Sahaba at that time, or is it for the whole Ummah?
Definitely for
the whole Ummah. It's Amr. Amr Am, Mutlaq. So now, refer it to Allah. What does it mean?
Go to the Quran.
To the Quran. Let me go to Allah. Allah speaks to you. Because you know, this person can be lying. Refer to the Messenger. A hadith. So sound reasoning dictates, necessitates that Allah will preserve the Sunnah. So the proof that the Sunnah been preserved, we know which one is weak and which one is authentic. Because if Allah says about Sunnah, but Sunnah is not going to be preserved, that's why we know the hadith is sahih and the hadith is da'if. He's actually telling me, how do you know this person is healthy? Because I know who's unhealthy.
Yeah.
So I compare between the two.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard who the guy speaking. His name is Shamsi. I would say Shamsi Bozo. The guy you heard is called Shamsi Bozo. Shamsi Bozo is giving you the reasons. Allah, this mushriks. Let's listen to him once more.
Hadith.
Do you rely on Quran?
Yeah.
Was Quran given to you directly?
He said, do you rely on the Quran? And then the person said, yes. And then he said, which scholar gave it to you directly? I just answered this question earlier on, right? Just tell them you got it from the library. That's all. Which scholar gave it to you directly? What do you mean by that question? Which scholar gave it to me directly? It is a book of guidance for mankind. However it will get to me, God will make sure it will get to me. So I can get it from the library. I can get it online. I can get it in Amazon. I can get it on Google. You understand? So now, look how they twist the statement you say to use it as a counter argument against you. So pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, no, not from Allah, obviously not.
Yeah, Sahaba memorize the Quran and they write it down.
So now, when the guy he was asking the question fell for it, then now Shamsi started saying the Sahaba. All of a sudden, he mentioned the Sahaba. Memorize the Quran. This narrative they are giving to the people has holes in them. It's not true. It's not consistent. I have hadith narrations which proves that the Quran was complete at the time of the Prophet. I dare any mushrik watching me, if I finish, or I'll open the phone lines, or I go to TikTok, join me and prove me wrong. That your hadith books are lying to you and your scholars are lying to you that the Quran was not complete. They say the Quran was only memorized and after the death of the Prophet before it was compiled. Look at the foolishness. Who told you this?
And they send it and they pass it on to their students.
So he went ahead to use his own opinions, and then they say the Sahabas memorized the Quran, wrote it down, and then they pass it on. You see how they do it? This is how all of them consistently they tell you, and then they pass it on. So let's continue.
So imagine now we have a Shi'i or so-called Qur'ani, yeah?
Now, when he was going to give an example, he says, now imagine when we have a Shi'i, that is a Shia person, then he says, and so-called Qur'ani, meaning a Quranist.
Imagine we have so-called Qur'ani. Me and him were different about understanding of Islam. Allah gave us a solution, which
he says, he and the Quranist have a difference in understanding Islam. So now he says God gave a solution. He's going to tell us the solution. And I'm going to tell you how they twist the words of God out of its place to change the words of God. This is what they do. And I'm going to show you how they do that.
If you differ amongst yourself, refer it back to Allah and His Messenger.
So now he quoted chapter 4, verse 59 out of context, where God says, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. God in infinite wisdom will have said, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى الْقُرْآنِ وَالْحَدِيثِ. God never said that. He said, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. I don't know what actually happened today that I'm coughing like this. Yeah. فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. So refer it to God and the messenger. That is if you dispute about anything. But now check this.
These commandments, is it only for the Sahaba at that time, or is it for the whole Ummah?
So now he goes ahead to say this commandment, which we find in Quran chapter 4, verse 59. Is it for whole of mankind, meaning believers and so on, or is it only for the Sahabas? Now watch.
The whole Ummah is Amr.
So then the one he was talking to followed up and said the whole of Ummah. All right? But God specifically says about the believers. The verse started with Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. He's talking to the believers. Then when God made that when God made that statement concerning refer it to God and to the messenger, he toppled it up with a statement that you need to pay attention. So I'm going to put the verse on the screen. Pay attention to the verse, the statement God toppled it up on the verse. Quran chapter 4, verse 59. Because these people would like to twist the words of God out of context. So always pay attention. This is the verse I'm going to put on the screen. God started the verse by talking to the believers. So in the verse, this is what he says. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Then he says, وَالرَّسُولِ. Then now it topples it by saying, إِن كُنْتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَحْوِيلًا. It says, and if you dispute about, or if you dispute with each other about anything, then refer it to God and the messenger, if you should believe in God and the last day. Then it says that is better and best in interpretation. Now, do you see the context? This is how the verse is presented. God is not just saying if you dispute about anything, just refer to God and the messenger. He didn't stop there. So he's talking to believers. It is talking to believers. So I'm going to give you the answer where to find the solution. So now let's go back to this liar. We are going back to his lies to detect how these people lie to you always, because they are popular on social media, right? Okay. So let's go back to Shamsi.
So now, refer it to Allah. What does it mean?
So now he goes ahead to ask the guy he's talking to. Refer it to Allah, meaning God. What does it mean? He's asking the person. So this is where they use your ignorance to pass on their comments or their points. You the one, Samsi, claiming to know better. You should have been the one explaining. Tell us what it means. He's going to use the weakness of the opponent. Now watch. So when God says refer it to God, he stopped there. The verse doesn't stop there. Then he asks the guy, if he says refer it to God, where do we go? God mentioned two things. We call it hendaides. Two subjects he mentioned together. He didn't separate it and say you go to God separately, then you go to this. He never said that. Yes, Shurulini, thank you. I just drank hot tea before even sitting for the lecture, so I need to drink the tea again soon. You understand? So God already said, refer it to God. Then he says, and it doesn't stop with God alone. And I'm going to show you where to find a solution for that. So now he's playing mind games with the person he's talking to. So watch what he does.
Allah speaks to you. Because you know this person can be lying. Refer to the messenger.
So now, he says, since he says refer to God, it means that's the Quran. So you have to refer to the Quran. So now he's going to separate between God and his messenger. Watch what he's going to do. So now he has the guide and refer it to the messenger. Where will we find the messenger? Watch. So now the person he is speaking to also says a hadith. Do you see the mind games here? Refer it to God, then they say it means the Quran. Refer it to the messenger, then they say a hadith. So messenger is the hadith and God is the Quran. Do you see how mushriks play with your conscience? Now watch.
Sound reasoning dictates, necessitates that Allah will preserve the sunnah.
Then he says this the reason which necessitates that God will preserve the sunnah. Hey! Shamsi. How did the notion of sunnah get into this verse? And how did the notion of a hadith get into this particular verse? Chapter 4, verse 59. How? How? But let's see. Let's expose them.
So the proof that the sunnah been preserved, we know which one is weak and which one is authentic.
So now he says the sunnah is preserved. We know which one is weak and which one is authentic. Hey!
Because if Allah says about sunnah, but sunnah is going to be preserved, that's why we know the hadith is sahih and the hadith is da'if.
But the problem you fail to realize is the Quran never says sunnah to Nabi. Nor does it say sunnah to Muhammad. It does. There's no notion of sunnah of Muhammad in the Quran, or sunnah to Nabi, or sunnah to Rasul. It's not in the Quran. So if you are mentioning things that cannot be found in the book of God, what is going on? Quran chapter 3 verse 78. وَيَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. They will say a lie about God while they know. These are the kind of people you are dealing with. I'm going to expose him.
He's actually telling me, how do you know this person is healthy? Because I know who's unhealthy. Yeah. So I compare between the two.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is the arguments that they normally present to you on the street to use your weakness and your ignorance against you. So now, God says in Quran chapter 4, verse 59, O you who have believed, obey God and obey the messenger. Remember, I can never obey God if I don't obey the messenger. So it is the messenger who is a human being who has been sent to the people. So the only way to obey God is to obey the messenger, because that is how we got his message, through a messenger. And that's angel, and then to a human being, and then human being to the people. That is how the message is delivered. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let me take you to, let's say, chapter 17, verse maybe, is it 95, right? Here, let's start from 94. Chapter 17, verse 94. And what prevented the people from believing when the guidance came to them was only because they said, has God sent a human messenger? The people who are wondering, why will God send a human messenger? Yeah, thank you all for the recommendations. I do have all these ingredients. I'll be going for it because I just drank the tea earlier on. That was why in the beginning was okay. But I think my throat was getting dry again. So I have to make the tea in between, where I'm almost going to get a break in between. Okay. So God says, the people say, has God sent a human messenger? So look at the response God is going to give. Then verse 95, chapter 17, verse 94 to 95. Now, verse 95 says, say, he tells the messenger to give the people the answer. Had there been angels on the earth walking at ease, just like the human beings walk, we would have sent down an angel messenger from the heaven to them. Do you see the answer God is giving? Okay. Then he says, sufficient, God is sufficient as a witness between me and you. Indeed, he to his servants is cognizant and seeing. So that was the answer which was given to the messenger to give to the people. So now, the only way God can speak to the people is through the messenger. That is a human messenger to the people. So now God is going to tell us how we can obey both God and the messenger. Now look at the answer here. So Quran chapter 4 verse 80. Check the answer God is giving us. Then God says, Man yuti'ir rasula faqad ata Allah. So God says, whoever obeys the messenger, then he has obeyed God. So in Quran chapter 4 verse 59, when God says, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرِدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ, it doesn't mean you are going to two different books. Are you getting my point? The only way you can refer to God is through the same messenger, human messenger. That is the only way. So God was actually using that hendiadis, meaning you just go back to the messenger. That is what will lead you to the God. So God says, whoever obeys the messenger, then he has obeyed God. Because that is the only way you can get the words of God, through the messenger. So now God told him, but whoever turns away, then we have not sent you as a guardian over them. Just like the mushriks think the prophet is a guardian over them. God never sent him as a guardian over you. You are the biggest fool to think the prophet is your guardian. Now, when I take you to Quran chapter 5 verse 67, listen what God said to the messenger. He says, Ya ayyuha rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa in lam taf'alu, fama ballagta risalatahu. Then he says, Wallahu yasimuka minan nas, inna allaha la ya'dil qawmal kafirin. O you, the messenger. Now God is talking to the messenger. Remember, whoever obeys the messenger has obeyed what? God. O you, the messenger, convey what has been revealed to you from your Lord. And if you do not, then you have not conveyed his message. But God will protect you from the people. Indeed, God does not guide the disbelieving people. So the messenger now has to deliver what God has instructed him to the people. Are you getting the point? When the people obey the messenger, they are automatically obeying God. It doesn't mean two different books. The duty of a messenger is to deliver a message. That is what Quran chapter 5 verse 67 is telling you. So that is why God was addressing the prophet here as a messenger, because he was given two assignments. If you want to understand, read chapter 33 verse 40. It says, Ma kana Muhammadun aba ahadin min rijalikum walakin Rasulallahi wa khataman nabiyyin. He had two assignments. Muhammad was not the father of any man among you. However, he is the messenger of God and the seal of the prophets. So he has the duty of the prophethood and then messengership. So when God says obey God and obey the messenger, it is hendiadis, two nouns to be obeyed in one. You can only obey God through the messenger. So the messenger only has the message of God to give you. So when you obey what he is saying, you are automatically obeying God. Quran chapter 5 verse 67. Now let's go back to the verse. In Quran chapter 4 verse 59 again. Now we have seen how to obey God and the messenger. So when God says, oh, you who have believed, obey God and obey the messenger, as well as those in authority among you. You want to know those in authority based on the context, go and read chapter 4 verse 83. During the time of the messenger assigned people who are in charge of the issues of security. So let me show you the verse on the screen. Quran chapter 4 verse 83. This is what God says. And when there comes to them an issue about security or fear, they broadcast it. And had they referred it to the messenger and to those in authority, among them, those who can deduce it, among them will have found it out. And if not, for the favor of God upon you and his what mercy, you will have followed the devil, except a few. So do you see those of authority? It's not talking about scholars. God will have said, Atiullaha wa atiu rasul wa ulama'u or ulama'i munkum. He never said ulama'a or ulama'u minkum. He never said ulama minkum. God never says scholars among you. It's talking about those of authority at the time of the messenger. We can see the context. The messenger, when he was alive, he assigned those of authority among the believers, dealing with the issues of security because of fear in case of there is a war or fight coming, so that these people can investigate. They are the people of authority. In this modern day, we call them government or authorities, police and so on. Those are the people of authority. Yes. So now, going back to 4 verse 59, then God says, but if you dispute about anything, listen, and if you dispute with each other about anything, God didn't leave an exception. About anything, no exception. That is why Quran is the book of guidance for mankind. So that means we have to go back to God and the messenger to hide this in the same book. And I'm going to show you the example. Now, then refer it to God and the messenger. Don't separate it. It's God and the messenger. Don't separate it and say, okay, refer it to God, then they stop. How do we go to God? That's a stupid logic you're using. Don't stop it there and say, how do you go to God? It says, refer it to God and the messenger. Because the only way we can go to God is through the what? Messenger. So now the messenger has already delivered the message. That's the Quran. Now we have the message. So now when we have any dispute, where are we supposed to go? Quran is the word of the messenger. He delivered it. Innahu la qawla rasul al-kareem. Indeed, it is the word of an honorable messenger. We have it. The Quran. Are you getting my point? He delivered the message. Now we have the message, right? So when we dispute about anything, where do we go? We go back to the book of God. That is the message of God. That means we are going to the messenger. This is what he delivered. So now we are going to see the words of the messenger in the Quran, and we are going to see the words of God. How do we get to know the words of the messenger? For instance, Quran chapter 17. I'm going to show you a verse. Quran chapter 17, verse 85. These are the words of the messenger. Listen, this is the messenger going to speak. And they ask you about the spirits. They ask who? Who is that? Who is God saying they ask you? The duty of a messenger is to deliver a message. So look how the messenger is going to deliver the message. And they ask you, the messenger, about the spirit. God tells him what? Say. Are you getting the point? Say. That's the messenger. The spirit is from the command of my Lord. So now, this statement, this messenger, if he speaks it out and you obey it, who are you obeying? You're obeying God, because it is the God who gave him this same message to speak it to you. So it is not like you're going to another book for the other book to tell you some gibberish. No, you go back to the same book of God. The messenger's words are there, which has been given by the same God. So when you obey this messenger, you are automatically obeying God. Salam, my brother Naba. Salam, brother Hassan. Do you see? So, man yuti'i rasula faqad ata Allah. Whoever obeys the messenger has obeyed God. Because both the words of God and the messenger are found in the Quran, not in a different book. So when the messenger has to speak, he will never speak from his opinion as a messenger. So when he's asked a question, God will tell him, yes, alunaka ani ruhu. When they ask you about the spirit, then God will tell him what to say. He doesn't have to use his opinion. So God will now tell him, kul, say. That's what makes him a messenger. So when God says, refer it to God and the messenger, Hendai this, you find it in the same book. The words of God in the Quran. The words of the messenger in the Quran. Let's go another example. Yasalunaka anil khamr wal maisir. Quran chapter 2 verse 219. When they ask you about wine and gambling, this is the answer God gave to the messenger to give. Listen. Quran chapter 2 verse 219. He says they ask you about wine and gambling. Then God now tell the messenger again, say, Salam, brother Sinan, Suleiman, say, there is great sin in them both, as well as benefits for mankind. But their sin is greater than their benefits. This is the words of God, but the messenger is the one speaking them. So you are obeying God and the messenger. Atiullah wa atiur Rasul. This is why you will never find a verse in the Quran where it says Atiullah wa atiur Nabi. I dare any scholar out there watching me, come and show me a verse where God says obey God and obey the prophet. I dare you. I'll stop being a Muslim that day. Where it says obey God and obey the prophet. You will never find it because the prophet is dead and gone. Somebody will say, what about the messenger? That's the message. He has delivered it. So the words of the messenger is still with us. The kul he has been instructed, you find it. Whatever the question he has been asked. See, this is why when people ask me, how do you pray? I find it funny. You will never find a question in the Quran where the prophet or where the messenger has been asked, yes, alunaka anis salat, where they ask you about salat. It doesn't exist in the Quran. How do you pray only became an issue today. These foolish mushriks out there, they ask you, okay, if you follow the Quran alone, how will you pray? Because it's the hadith giving us how you that exercise you are doing, you call that prayer? And you come and lie to us that the prophet said, Sallu kamara aitumuni usalli. Have you seen the prophet praying before? No, you, the mushriks. Have you seen him praying before? Where? You? Where? Well, according to your hadith, he said you should pray as you have seen him pray. The question is, have you seen him praying before? You never did. So what are you doing? Who are you lying to? The words of God is there, which is complete in truth and justice. Quran chapter 6 verse 115. وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِهِ. There's no alteration to the words of God. You don't like this, but you say you want Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Jami al-Tirmizi, Sunan Ibn Majah, Sunan Abi Dawood, Sunan An-Nasa'i. These are the books you want. Kutubus Sitta. This is what you want, right? Go and take it. But the words of God and the messenger are found in the same book. So now this is what God told the believers. Listen. Remember in Quran chapter 4 verse 59, it says, In kuntum tu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir. Do you remember? In kuntum tu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir. That is, if you believe in God and the last day. Why do you think God placed the emphasis there? Because in Quran chapter 2 verse 8, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. Among the people are those who say we believe in God and the last day. But God says they are not believers. A believer will actually practice what God is telling him through the messenger, which is the Quran. The words of God and the messenger are found in the same book. So now, if I take you to Quran chapter 5, verse 101. So let's say now we are listening to what God has to tell us. Thank you very much, Anaba, for the gifts. Thank you for all those who send the gift. God bless you on TikTok. Yeah. So here, in Quran chapter 5, verse 101. Thank you, Islam Yunus. God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. So now, if you believe in God in the last day, right? So now in the words of God, God is now speaking to us. The messenger has delivered it. So God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. La tas'alu an ashiya'a in tubda lakum tasukum. Wa in tas'alu anha yina yunazzalul Qur'an tubda lakum. Then he says, Afa Allahu anha wallahu ghafurun halim. He says, oh, you who believe. So now he's talking to the believers. Are you a believer? If you are a believer, listen. He says, do not ask about things if made clear to you will distress you. But if you ask about them, when the Quran is revealed, then they will be made clear to you. Then he said, God has overlooked such, for God is forgiving and clement. So meaning, as a believer, you have to ask questions pertaining to the Quran. If it is not in the Quran, it's none of your business. I'm serious. God will not go and stand with you on the day of judgment and he's asking you about Sahih Bukhari. He has no idea what those gibberish are. Seriously. That is why Quran chapter 25 verse 30, the messenger will come in front of God and say, Qala Rasuli ya Rabbi, inna qawmi takhazu hazal Qur'ana mahjura. He says, my Lord, my people have taken this Quran as abandoned. They abandoned the Quran. We can see what the so-called Arabs of today, most of them, not all of them, we see what they do. Tell me one so-called Islamic country on earth today who uses only the Quran as their legislation. None, not even Saudi Arabia, uses the Quran as their governing this thing. No, they don't. They use Bukhari and so on to make their legislation. If you go to countries like Saudi Arabia, they catch you fornicating, hey, they are going to kill you. They are going to stone you to death. You mentioned in the Arab zones. You don't find stoning in the Quran, but you find it in the Hadith. Somebody changes his religion, they behead, they kill him, they cut his head off. You find it in the Hadith, or not from the Quran. I just gave you the verse from the Hadith. It's Sunan Abi Dawud 4356 and Sahih al-Bukhari 3017. Man baddala dinahu faqtuluhu. Whoever changes his religion, kill him. That is what the gibberish books are telling you. Those comedy books. You will never find this comedy in the Quran. Are you getting my point? So Quran chapter 5 verse 101. If you are a believer, God is telling you to ask questions pertaining to the Quran. That's where you get your answers. Don't go and ask about things. If the answer is given to you, you will be stressful, or it will distress you, just like the Hadith books will distress you. If you want simplicity, the book of God is there. It's a guidance for mankind. Unless if you are not a human being, then forget about the Quran. Are you getting the point? So the issue of this, what this guy is bringing, this Shamsi Bozo is trying to confuse somebody, saying that farduhu ilallahi wa rasuli, it means go to the Quran and go to the Hadith. It is non-fa. It doesn't work. Thank you, Naba. It doesn't work. You understand? The words of your Lord is complete in truth, in justice. Take it for your guidance. So that is why in Quran chapter 6 verse 114, this is what God says. Quran chapter 6 verse 114, check what God says. Afa ghayra Allahi abtagi hakaman wa huwa allazi anzala ilaykum alkitaba mufassala wallazina ataynahum alkitaba ya'lamuna annahu munazzalu min rabbika bilhaq. It says fala takunanna min almumtarin. It says, so shall I seek a judge other than Allah. It is only a mushrik. Not only a mushrik, a bozo, who will now go to other idols to give him legislations and judgments, which is not coming from God. So God is talking to us. So shall I seek a judge other than God, while he is the one who has revealed to you the book, explained in detail? Somebody will say, but I don't see how I should sleep with my wife. Are you a dummy? He already gave you brain. That is out of the issue of his guidance. Go and learn how to sleep with your wife. Hey, why? The things he will judge you in front of him on the day of judgment, he gave you everything in the Quran. You don't find those things, it's up to you. Go and decide how you want to do. Are you getting my point? The foolish people out there will tell you necklace is haram. Look, babashuaib is wearing necklace. Go and read Quran chapter 35 verse 12. You can wear it and say thank you to God. God never said necklace is haram. You have some foolish people out there telling you it is haram. Tell them to prove it from the book of God. Let's see where it says it is haram. Quran is here to give you simplicity, but the human being by nature hates simplicity. We saw it with our great-great-grandfather Adam. He hates simplicity. God says, hey, you see this tree? Don't go next to it. The human being say, I want to see what is there. Now, is it your tree? You put it there. Oh, we can see it happening with our kids. If you like, put your phone. Just put your phone and tell your son or daughter, don't touch it. It is now they want to go and check what is there. Why did Baba say I shouldn't touch it? No. Why do you want? Is it for you? You put it there. Is it yours? So if God says this tree, this garden is yours, this big garden is yours, but don't go to just one tree. It is telling you how human being hates simplicity. So for people watching me, if you are a video game expert, you like playing video games, do you know how it feels when you are playing video game and it's very easy? When it's very easy, you don't like it. Wallahi, I'm not joking. Look, ask people who know how to play video games. Even if in exams, academically, in school, when exams is very easy, the human being doesn't like it. He will say, oh, why is this so simple like that? I don't like it. Say, bring tough one. This is human being by nature. You are playing video game. If it's too easy, you don't like it. You get bored. You are like, this game is too easy. No, put it very hard. Hey, raise it up. Let it go. You understand? The human being wants, but because God knows us very well, so he makes things simple for us. Quran chapter 22 verse 78. He is the one who has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in the religion. Quran chapter 22 verse 78. He is the one who has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in the religion. Then you see some foolish bozos. When babashuaib is talking about guidance of the Quran, they will come and say, look at this kafir. He wants to make the religion easy. He doesn't want to pray 5 times. He wants to just pray 3 times. What is wrong with you as a bozo, for God's sake? No, the God who gave you the religion, did he make it difficult? No. Did he say it is difficult? So where am I trying to make it easy when he has already made his religion easy? And then you are saying, no, akhi. Yeah, we want the difficult one. Yes, let's do it difficult. Let's, tarikus salat. Let's bal my salat and then come and do it. Quran chapter 5 verse 105. This is what God says. Quran chapter 5 verse 105. Let me put it on the screen. Chapter 5 verse 105. So God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu alaykum anfusakum la yadurrukum man dalla iza atadaytum ilallahi marji'ukum jami'an fayunabbi'ukum bima kuntum ta'amalun. O you who believe. God is talking to the believers. Listen what God says. Your souls are upon you. Worry about your soul, your neck. Worry about your neck first. When you see your neighbor's house burning, before you go and pour water there, make sure yours is secured. Before you go to your neighbor to pour water. You can't go pouring water on your neighbor's house whilst yours is burning. Are you listening? So God is not speaking to fools. That is why Quran is meant for intelligent people. Even in the classroom, when a teacher is teaching, the teacher is not teaching fools. The teacher is talking to the intelligent students in the classroom. Because the teacher knows not everybody will pass the exams. Now, to be honest, Quran is not talking to fools. This is why Quran is not scared to call people foolish people if they are fools. They don't use their brain. Quran will tell you are a fool. Quran chapter 25 verse 44. Do you think that most of the people listen or reason? God says they are just like livestock. And they are even more astray than the livestock. Because the livestock, when he wakes up in the morning, he knows he has to go and fetch food for his children. Yes, that's the livestock. But what about a human being who doesn't know his purpose? He will never listen or reason. And by nature, when a human being doesn't not listen, there is no way he can reason. By nature, when a human being does not listen, there is no way he can reason. Are you getting that point? So Quran chapter 8 verse 22, God says the worst of creatures are the deaf and dumb who do not use reasoning. So use your reasoning wisely. Don't let scholars keep manipulating you, twisting things around you, and then you come and tell me because he went to Saudi Arabia so he knows better. You are a fool to think that Islam belongs to the Arabs. Yes, you are the biggest fool to think that Islam started in the 7th century. Prophet Muhammad came and met Islam. Islam didn't start with Prophet Muhammad. Ibrahim was a Muslim. Moses was a Muslim because they submit to God. That is what Muslim means. So if you are here and you think, oh, Prophet Muhammad brought Islam, you are a fool. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Who is a fool? Someone who lacks good judgment. You have a good judgment, you will never say Prophet Muhammad brought Islam. He only happens to bring Islam to the Arabs. But Islam was already there. The children of Israel, we knew what Islam was. Moses was a Muslim. Jesus was a Muslim submitting to God. That's what a Muslim means. Someone who submits his will to God. You don't do your own will. You do the will of God. That's the submitter. Are you getting my point? Okay. So, let me see what I've missed. Yeah, Talib, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the membership. Thank you very much, Baba Sedu. Surulini says, at Quran, try praying the Taraweeh prayer, 33 rakah in 50 minutes. You can imagine how the surahs go in high speed. I've done that when I used to be a former mushrik in Ghana. I've done also the Taraweeh. I've joined that. Normally, we used to look for the fastest one to go, where it will be done very fast. Then we are done. SML says, Baba, I wanted to thank you about how good refer to Quran is. I ordered also one for my sister. Yeah, thank you very much. SML, I appreciate the support. God bless you. And let's keep up with seeking knowledge from the book of God. I appreciate the support. Let me see. Is there any question I've missed? Somebody asked a question. He says, what? Baba, how do you answer the Sunni when they say, how do you know the call to prayer are done? And that the Quran was transmitted. Okay, you said I've answered the transmission, right? So let's talk about the azan. How did the Sunnis, the mushriks, how did they get their azan? Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself. You are going to laugh a bit. I'm going to show you how the sectarians got their azan. Let me take you to Sahih al-Bukhari. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to Sahih al-Bukhari. Brace yourself and see how they got their azan. I'm going to show you how the sectarians got their azan. Yeah, thank you very much, Naba. Thank you. I appreciate that for the support. Naba, thank you. God bless you. Check how sectarians got their azan. I'm going to show you. Now, when you go to Sahih al-Bukhari 604, Sahih al-Bukhari 604. Now, this is what it says. It is narrated by what? By Ikrimah. When you take here Ikrimah, let me show you something. For those who can see the screen, I've highlighted, you see Ikrimah. That is the one who narrated it, right? So normally when you start from above, you see Haddathana Aliyu bin Abdullahi. Then it goes Haddathana Sufiyanu. Then An Ayub. Then it says An Ikrimah. Then it goes Anna Aliyah. Then it says Radiyallahu Anhu. Then it goes on and start telling you the narration. For those on TikTok and TikTok, you cannot see the screen, unfortunately. The screen can be seen by those on Facebook and YouTube, unfortunately. So I'm going to read it for you guys to hear. So for those on TikTok, this is what the hadith says. I'm going to show you what it says. Here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've clicked on the hadith. This is the hadith itself. Sorry. The hadith is narrated by Ibn Umar, not the Ikrima. I was clicking on the wrong hadith. This hadith was narrated by what? Ibn Umar. So it says, when the Muslims arrived at Medina, remember, according to this narration, they are saying the Muslims left Mecca and they came to Medina. So I'm going to show you something. They used to assemble for the Salat and used to guess time for it. It says the Muslims at the time of the Prophet, when they arrived in Medina, they used to assemble for the prayer. So imagine, it means God gave them the Salat, but he didn't give them how to call for Azan. If there is anything called Azan for Salat, it means God gave them the Salat, but no mention of Azan. So I'm going to show you how the mushriks, they got their Azan. This is Sahih al-Bukhari 604. Write it down. So then it says, when the Muslims arrived at Medina, they used to assemble for the prayer and used to guess the time for it. During those days, the practice of Adhan for the prayers had not been introduced yet. Ladies and gentlemen, during those days, even though the Muslims were establishing Salat, the Azan had not been introduced. Because in the Quran, there is nothing called Adhan for Salat. Adhan for Salat, it doesn't exist. The only thing you find in the Quran is a nudiya lis-salat. If you are sitting there and I say, hey, Vamijo, my friend, get up, let's go and pray. It is still nudiya. That means I'm summoning you, I'm calling you, let's go. I don't need to be singing, Allahu Akbar Allah. No. Who are you calling? No, who? Why are you shouting and disturbing people? Even your salat itself, God says you shouldn't make loud noise. وَلَا تَجْهَرْ بِصَلَاتِكَ وَلَا تُخَافِتْ بِهَا وَابْتَغِي بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ سَبِيلًا. Quran chapter 17 verse 110. You are not even supposed to be shouting with your salat. Why will you be shouting in people's ears? Allahu Akbar. Especially in Ghana. In the dawn time, in the night time, shouting all over. Why? Thank you very much, Sister Alma Johnson. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. Can you imagine? So according to their own hadith, it says once they discussed this problem, meaning there was a problem. The Muslims were establishing Salat, but they don't know how to make Azan. So they discussed the problem. So discussing the problem, what happened is regarding the call for prayer. Some people suggested the use of bell like the Christians. So here, you see, they want to copy. They want to copy the Christians who, according to this hadith. Then he says, others proposed a trumpet like the horn used by the Jews. But Umar, hey, this Umar is a lifesaver. Umar has been there throughout consistently, saving the issue of the day. Umar. So Umar was the first to suggest that a man should call for the prayer. So the messenger of God ordered Bilal to get up and pronounce the Azan for prayers. Out of nowhere. How? I thought they used to guess. So according to this hadith, when God gave them the salat, if there was anything called Azan, God forgot to add the Azan to the package. Because they said the prophet went to the sky to bring 50 prayers, and then it was negotiated by, I don't know, is it by cryptocurrency or what? From 50 to 5. So this 5, when he was coming, they didn't package the Azan on it. The Azan was not part of it. The raka'at, according to them, go and read Sahih al-Bukhari 350. It says when the prophet went to take the negotiated salat, it was only 2 rakat. 2. It means 10. Only 10 rakats they had, according to the hadith. If you think I'm lying, write it down. Sahih al-Bukhari 350 and Google it right now. If I'm lying, you Google it. And go to sunnah.com and check it for yourself. When the prophet went to receive the negotiated crypto salat from 50 to 5, it was only 2 rakatu. 2. The same hadith says the words of God does not change. If he doesn't change, how did he become from 10 to 17 rak'at? Who changed them, for God's sake? Who? Guys, you have to investigate too. There is some corruption going on somewhere. This crypto salat, they negotiated from 50 to 5 out of nowhere, because they said the words of God doesn't change, but then automatically something just happened, and then the words of God changed from 50 to 5. And then again, they say if you do any one salat, it's 10 blessings, so you get 50 blessings. Are you kaput in the head? If it was 50 salats, if one blessing is equal to 10, that means I would have gotten more than that, 500 or something. So now if you are saying now 5 and then it's equal to how? What kind of mathematics is this? How? No, how? Now you are going to tell us that this how do you call it? How do you call this guy? This Sahih al-Bukhari is telling you that when the Prophet went to receive the salat, they were given two raka'ats. How did you change? Now, Sister Diana, is 350. Sahih al-Bukhari 350. 350. Not 3050. No. 350. Aha. If you want to know how they took the negotiated crypto salat, the crypto 50 crypto to 5 crypto, it is Sahih al-Bukhari 349, right? 349. That will show you how the 50 was negotiated to become 5. So from the 5 salat, when the Prophet went to receive, they didn't show him how to do the azan. It was not part of the package. The Salatul Janaza they are doing is not part of the package. Salatul Eid they are doing is not part of the package. Salatul Jum'ah they are doing is not part of the 5 salat. Salatul, you mention it. Please help me. What are the other salat? Just mention in the comment section. The other salat they have is not part of the package. Are you getting my point? Salatul Janaza is not in the Quran. It's not part of the salat. They claim the Prophet also went to receive the 5 salat. Salatul Jum'ah is not part of the 5 salat. He went to receive. Salatul Eid is not part of the 5 salat. Salatul Janaza is not part of the 5 salat. And after that, the Sahih al-Bukhari 350, they claim the Prophet received two raka'at for the 5 salat, which is 10 raka'at. So automatically, how did he become 17 now? The ones they are doing now. Who changed it from 10 to 17? How? And when he went to receive those salats, the azan, was it part of the package? No. So where did they get the azan? I just showed you the hadith. They were guessing it. They guessed the time. Oh, watch. You don't know. Let me put it on the screen. They were guessing the time. Oh. See, this is the hadith on the screen. Sahih al-Bukhari 604. They say when they came to Medina, they didn't know how to know. So they were guessing the time for prayer. Hey, can you imagine? The messenger of God is among people and they are guessing the time for salat. After God is telling you the weather. Akim salat liduluki shams ila gasakil layl. Hey, wa Qur'an al-Fajr. Inna Qur'an al-Fajr kana mash'ura. Akim salat tarafay nahar wa zulafan min al-layl. And you are saying the messenger of God is in the midst of these people and they are guessing the time for salat. Hey, mushrikanga. Akurabatu, where are you?
God have mercy upon us.
So now, if this Salat Azan was something good, why would they now command a black man to rather get up and call the Azan? Why not? If the Azan was very, very good thing in Islam, how come nobody decided to do it? It was Bilal that was instructed to get up and go and call the Salat. Hey, these people. Hey. Hey. Allah mushrikanga. Muhammad Pedro, he said what? He says it was a big auction between God and the Prophet Muhammad. Yes, it was an auction. Big time. Big time. Baba Shuaib, they use Umar's crypto. Yes, it was Umar's crypto they use. Masih Muslim. They use Umar's crypto for that. I'm serious. Yes, Sister Shifa. Yeah. Alam Shah says, besides the loud adhan, they will pray on the streets and in front of people walking in busy hours. Yes, they want to be seen. They want to, we call that ostentatious. You find that in Quran. Let me put it on the screen. Quran chapter, is it Suratul Ma'un, right? Should it be Quran chapter 108? Oh, let me get, is it? Suratul Ma'un. Let me put it on the screen. Chapters. Then we go to Ma'un. Chapter 107. This chapter. In chapter 107, this is what God says concerning people who are ostentatious. Have you seen the one who denies the deen, the religion? And that is one who forsakes the orphan and does not urge on feeding of the poor. So woe to those who pray, those who are heedless of their what? The prayer, that is the litany. Those who are ostentatious. You see, I put here into bracket show off. Oh, let me put it on the screen. Sorry. I started from verse 1, where it says, have you seen the one who denies the religion? And that is the one who forsakes the orphan and does not urge on feeding of the poor. So woe to those who pray, those who are heedless of their prayer. That is the litany. Then he says, those who are ostentatious. Ostentatious, we have them all over around. You see them on the streets praying as if they are the submissive ones, standing and praying. They want to be seen by everybody, right? Then it goes, and they forbid assistance. Yes, those people forbid assistance. Yeah. So that is what we call them attention seekers. Yes, that is the right word, Imran Khan. They are attention seekers. This is why they block the streets and they pray on the way. But they want everybody to see them. Look, this is what God talks about hypocrites. Quran chapter 4, verse 142. I'm going to show you the prayer of hypocrites. This is how hypocrites are. It says what? Indeed, the hypocrites are deceiving God while he is deceiving them. And when they get up for the salat, the litany, they get up lazily to show the people. And they do not commemorate God except a little. So those people, when they get up lazily to show the people. It is based on showing the people. That's why they will get up to do that. So this is why they will stand in the public places to pray. Have you ever noticed? Don't you notice that when it is their Jum'ah prayer, when they go for their Friday prayers, the mosque gets very full to the extent that they extend to the streets. But when it is not Jum'ah, the mosque never gets full. It's sometimes half. It doesn't even reach half. It is just maybe the first line of people alone. Because they've been told that if you go for the Friday prayers, all your sins for the last week has been forgiven. This is what they told them. And then they told them that the judgment day will happen on the day of Friday. Whilst forgetting that when we are Friday here, some country is Saturday already. So I wonder which one. You understand? So this is what is talking about the ostentatious. They are the hypocrites showing off. There's nothing to do with Islam. Yes, Momade Pedro is saying, Baba, the Quran chapter 107 verse 1, the word deen is most of the time translated into recompense like the day of judgment. Yes, it can be used because the word deen has multiple meanings. But however, when you check from my translation, I'm going to give you the example of why I use that, the deen. Because it is the deen which actually suggests you to feed the poor. It is God's deen which suggests you to feed the poor. Are you getting the point? So I'm going to show you the example here. So you can see here when I translated that, have you seen the one who denies the religion? So I gave a reference, chapter 95, verse 7. So let me take you to chapter 95, verse 7. In chapter 95, verse 7, this is what it says. So what do they yet deny you about the religion? But when you read here, if you start, then we will return him to the lowest. Then he says, except those who believe and do good deeds, that they will have a reward. So what do they deny you about the religion? Is God not the master of judges? Now here, some people will use the judgment. Still correct. The context is still correct. Some people will put religion. Still correct. And I'll tell you why. If you use the judgment, the deen is about judgment. That's why it says, أَفَغَيْرِ اللَّهِ هَبْتَغِي حَكَمًا وَهُوَ الَّذِي أَنزَلَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْكِتَابَ مُفَصَّلًا. Quran chapter 6 verse 114 is about the judgment of God. Then the deen of God, the religion, still belongs to God. So whatever we practice in the deen has to do with the judgment of God still. So it is still the religion of God based on your faith with God. Whatever God decides. Religion is believing in a supernatural being who controls your destiny. So you are still believing in the judgment of God. So when people translate it as judgment, is correct. When people translate it as religion, is still correct. Because one word can have multiple meanings, and you have to decide by the context. And both will fit in perfectly without any problem. So ladies and gentlemen, let me put my phone number. Of course, I'm bringing the topic to an end. For in case I didn't answer somebody's question, let me just put it. So this person who asked me concerning the azan, Ziyad Mohammed, if somebody asks you and say, if you are following the Quran alone, how are you going to do the azan? First of all, tell him there is nothing like azan for salat in the Quran, right? Then secondly, you tell him, even your hadith books, it says that the people were guessing the time for prayer. They were guessing it. Whilst God has given us the time for prayer in the Quran already. So why will I guess something when it's there for the remembrance of God? So this is my phone number on the screen. Yes. So any question regarding to the topic of today, you are welcome to call in. I'll be going to TikTok very soon after this. I have few minutes to go to TikTok. So anybody who wants to call regarding what I've spoken about today, you're welcome to call. Then after this, I jump to the TikTok. Then if there's any mushrik or comedians out there who wants to join me and say, babashuaib, you are lying about something, please be my guest. Naba says, come on, Baba, stop the word mushrik, please. Naba, please. When you read Quran chapter 109, when the Prophet was asked to address the kafirs, what word did he use? He says, Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Then when you go to Quran chapter 41, verse 6, let me help you out, Naba. Quran chapter 41, verse 6. God says, Kul innama ana bashar. Sorry. Yes. Innama ana basharu mithlukum yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilahun wahid. Then he says, fastakimu ilayhi wastagfiru. Then he says, wailul wa wailul lil mushrikeen. Woe to the mushriks. So Naba, please help us out. Who are the mushriks? If God calls people munafiks, hypocrites, he calls God people kafirs. And then you say, Babas, please stop saying kafirs. Please stop saying mushriks. I don't get your point. If the person is a kafir, he's a kafir. I'm not causing division. Division has been there since day one. This is what God says in the Quran. If he wanted, mankind would have been one nation. But whether you like it or not, when I hear people saying religion has divided people, look, even football divide people, politics divide people. You mentioned food can divide people, love can divide people, money can divide people. You name it. It is only an ignorant person or somebody with a shallow mind who thinks religion is the only cause of division in the world. No, money divides people. Love can divide people. Football can divide people. You name it. Politics can divide people. The list is endless. Seriously. People will always find a reason to hate something when it doesn't go with their feelings, or you understand. So if somebody is just like you are telling me I shouldn't call somebody mushrik, do you know somebody can say don't call somebody a pedophile even though the person is a pedophile? We have people who can say don't stop saying he's a pedophile, or stop saying this person is gay even though the person is gay. If you say this guy is gay, then they say, hey, stop saying gay, it's not good. What? The person is gay, say he's gay. The person is a mushrik, say he's a mushrik. There's nothing to beat around the bush if you are honest and can prove what you are saying. Simple. So there is no act of division here. When somebody is a criminal, tell him you are a criminal. Prove it if he's a criminal. That's it. That is not like a name calling. Yes. So if I'm sitting here and you see me saying somebody mushrik, I'm not going to joke with you. I'm telling you the honest truth. If the person is here in front of me, I'll prove it to him. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is what truth is about. The truth doesn't romance people's ego. Right? So I go with what God says. God says in Quran chapter 5 verse 44, whoever does not judge by what God has revealed is a what? Is a kafir. So can I prove my claims from the Quran? Yes, I bet you. I can prove. The person doesn't agree with me, fine. Agreement, we agree to disagree. But that doesn't mean I cannot say what I'm saying. I can say what I'm saying so far as I can prove it. That's how it works. So let people who are emotionally hurt, let them keep being hurt. That's none of my business.
Hello?
Yes, hello, my brother. Your name and where you're calling from? Huh?
Is it babashuaib?
Yes. Are you watching my program?
Yes, I'm watching your program. Yes.
Okay, then why are you asking if it's babashuaib? You are calling as if you don't know who you're calling.
I just want to double check.
Okay, good. Is babashuaib? How may I help you, brother?
Yeah, I just had regarding the salah.
Your voice is far away. Can you speak up? By the way, where are you calling from?
I'm calling you from the Gambia.
The Gambia. And your name is?
Mohammed.
Your name is Mohammed. So can you speak up? Your voice is far away. Can you come closer to your phone?
Yes, I'm speaking of. The question I want to ask is about salah. Was it mentioned in the Quran? If so, if there is any verse you can guide us. If not, also you can guide me. Let me know.
Your question is not specific. Do you mean is the word salah mentioned in the Quran, or what do you mean is mentioned in the Quran?
Yes, I want to understand if the word salah is mentioned in the Quran.
Yes,
the
word salat is mentioned in the Quran, and the times God gave to the messenger was 3 times, and that is the same one the believers have to follow. So 3 times it's mentioned.
at 3 times that you are mentioning, is it applicable to all the 3 daily prayers that was given to the Prophet? I believe that 3 salah was given purposely during the time of war and when a person, a Muslim, is traveling.
But you say you believe. It's not about belief. Can you prove it? If you make a claim, you prove it. It's not about belief. If you believe, that's everybody can say they have their opinion on belief. What I do, Babashuaib does is I speak on things I can prove. It is not about belief.
Okay.
So if right now you came asking me a question, the word salat is in the Quran. Quran chapter 20 verse 14. God told the Prophet Musa, Innani ana Allah la ilaha illa ana fa'abudni wa akimi salat li zikri. So salat was established by the prophets. You understand? Then God gave it to us to also establish. Now believers have been given the salat and we have the times for it. Quran chapter 4 verse 103. Inna salata kanat alal mu'minina kitabun mawquta. So the Quran, the salat has decreed times for the believers to follow. And we saw the messenger when he was alive, the times he practiced the salat. So that is the same example for the believers have to take and also practice.
Okay, and this daily 3 times prayer that is mentioned in the Quran, when are we supposed to perform these 3 times prayers that has been mentioned in the Quran?
Yes, the messenger himself, when he was given, he performed the Fajr Salat, the Isha Salat, and the Salat al-Wusta, which is the night Salat. In chapter 73, verse 20, the time for the night Salat has been given there. Chapter 73, verse 20. So those are the 3 Salats only he performed according to the Quran. Other than that, he never performed any other Salat.
Any other extra salah that we do is not religion, right? It's not religious, right?
Well, any other extra salat you do, you have to find where the command is coming from. If it's not coming from God, then why do we do it?
But how about if the hadith is like it's there to prove that there are 5 days? Because like I have been taught that the Prophet ﷺ went to Isra wal Miraj to receive the prayers from God. So this is confusing to me right now. It's very confusing to me if you are telling me there are it's only 3 times that is mentioned in the Quran that we should pray. And
But you are talking about the hadith. We are talking about the Quran. Don't mention the hadith. I already spoke about these things before you even called. I don't know if you watched the full program. Did you watch the full program?
No, I did not watch.
I spoke about it 15 minutes ago before you called. I spoke about how he received the salat and everything. Those are lies. That is Sahih al-Bukhari 349. You can write it down and check it for yourself. Sahih al-Bukhari 349. The one he sat on the burak and then he went to the sky to go and bring 50 salats and then they negotiated it till it became 5 crypto salats.
So meaning he never received the salat?
No, there is no such thing as 550 salat or 5 salat in the Quran. It doesn't exist.
So what I understand is hadith. We as Muslims do not believe in the hadith. We only need what the Quran says. That's all.
This is what.
There is no hadith.
Yeah, this is what the Quran says. Quran chapter 45 verse 6. God says, "Tilka ayatullahi natluha alayka bil haqq fa bi ayyi hadith ibadallahi wa ayati yu'minun." In which hadith after God and his verses will they believe? God is asking you and I question. So which one should we believe? After God and his verses, which hadith should we believe?
Yeah, but I believe the Prophet is the living Quran, and then whatever he does, we have to follow what he does or preaches, and he preaches exactly what the Quran says.
Yes, so he does what the Quran says. So it has nothing to do with the hadith books. Are you getting my point?
Thank you. Yes, I'm getting
Thank you for your time, brother. Yes, salam. Somebody was trying to call me. Let me see. I can call the person back before. Okay.
Yes, the word salah.
Yes, brother, can you hear me?
Hey, salam, babashuaib. It's
Yes,
brother
salam.
Omar Satar from Canada. What's going on?
Yeah.
How are you doing? Good?
Yes, alhamdulillah. All good.
Good. Yeah. Today, we beat on the chicken again with obey Allah and obey the messenger. And it's crazy when people think that this is, two different sources and whatnot. And the simple question that comes to mind is like to throw back at the mushriks is the book, you just ask them a simple question, is the book of Allah and the book of the messenger two different books? Right? It cannot be so, because the messenger can only bring the book and the revelation from Allah, right? So this like basic thing, I don't understand how it cannot be comprehended, right? Along with the verse like chapter 4, number 80 showed us. And there's another one that I like to give them. I forgot the number, but it says, O Prophet, we know you're saddened when the people reject you, but they don't reject you, they reject the God's messages, God's revelation. That should be pretty clear to show that it's not about the messenger, it's about the message that the messenger is bringing. And if you reject the messenger, you're not really rejecting the messenger, you're rejecting God's word. Right? So I think those are important points. But anyways, my question is specific to chapter 62, verse 9, with the Jummah. I noticed in your translation, it's the past tense, O you who believed. In several other translations, they use the present tense, O you who believe. How do we distinguish when it's past and present? I think the Arabic word is amanu.
Yeah, you have to check the context. The context, when you read the verses, those verses, chapter 62, verse 9, when you read up to verse 11, it is telling you that the context was dealing with the believers at the time of the prophet. Do you see my point? That is the believers who left him standing when he was during the prayer. They left him and went back to their business and their sales. So now, so using you who have believed is to distinguish between a real believer and who is not, because the one who has believed will not leave the prophet standing to go do his things.
Yes.
So that is what determines O you who have believed and O you who believe. It is the word used, but you have to check the context to know if it is in past tense and present tense. Many times Quran has used words even in the past tense, which is for future tense.
Right.
You
I
understand?
remember there was a lecture you did with the other Arabic word, I think kunta, and that could
mean kunta.
Past.
Yes, kunta can be past or present and future also.
So there's some Arabic words that it's the same word, but it could be past or present.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But all are denoted by the context. All this varies based on the context. So you have to understand the context and see if the word is in past tense or present tense. That's how it is utilized. So just like on the day of judgment, he says, Qala Rasulu ya Rabbi inna qawmi takhazu hadha al-Qur'ana ma'jura. Quran chapter 25 verse 30, that the messenger will say, but the word is in past tense, Qala. You understand? Past tense, if you isolate only the word, you might think it's past tense, but it is a future tense. So he will say instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my one question. I wanted to just know about that.
No problem. Yeah, no problem, brother.
Program.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just pick the last caller, then I go to TikTok now. Thank you for your time. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Yes. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
It's Wissam calling from Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you regarding chapter 10, verse 87, if you can pull it up.
Chapter 10, verse 87. Yeah, what is your question?
Okay, I just wanted to know how you are going to explain the litany over there. What do you mean by they were establishing the litany there? Were you saying like they're doing a ritual prayer?
They were doing the salat prescribed for Moses to establish for the remembrance of God. That was what they are doing.
Okay, and how did they do it? Are they doing it the same way you're doing it, like by standing and reciting and then prostrating?
Yes.
Okay, what were they reciting?
They were reciting the book of God given to them at that time.
But there was nothing given to them at that time. It's only after Egypt that they were given the book of God and the Torah.
Wait a second. Where in the Quran does it say after Egypt they were given the Torah and the gospel? Where?
You need to prove to me they were given.
No, you are making a claim. I didn't make any claim.
I am using.
No, I didn't make any claim. Listen, Wesam. I didn't make a claim. You just made a claim. They were using the Torah and the gospel was given to them after they left Egypt. That's a claim. I didn't make a claim. So I'm saying, where does it say that in the Quran that they were giving after Egypt, that they were given the Torah and the gospel? Because as a matter of fact, you can never prove to me a verse from the Quran where it says Moses was given the Torah. That is number one. You can never prove that. Number two, number two, you are making a claim. All I said is, where does it say? That's all I said. Where does it say that?
The covenant that God gave them was after they left Egypt.
Now prove it. Give me a verse where it says that.
I don't need to give you a verse.
Then how can I believe you?
Available today.
No.
The Torah available today.
But how can I believe you if you say you don't need to give me a verse? Then where are we supposed to take the guidance from? Because the guidance I take is from the Quran.
Where can we take the guidance from?
From the Quran.
The guidance that God, the Quran chapter 10 verse 94, the guidance which God told us. He said, if you are in doubt, basically the story where we're talking about right now, you're saying they're establishing prayer. I'm saying they were not establishing prayer. So if we doubt about
who was the verse talking? Okay, who was the verse talking to? Chapter 10 verse
94.
Yeah, who was it talking about? Who was it talking to?
It's about the children of Israel.
And I say, who was God talking to in that verse?
In chapter 10 verse 94.
Yes, I'm asking you, who was God talking to?
The prophet.
To the prophet. Thank you. Was he talking to me?
Okay, so
no, answer me. Wait.
Please
listen to the statement. Was he talking to me?
It was talking to the prophet.
Thank you. So did the prophet doubt the words of God? Did he doubt?
Why did God say, if you doubt, go ask them? What's the reason for that?
You left my question unanswered. You want me to answer your question? Is that how communication works?
What's the reason for that verse?
And I said, you left my question unanswered. You are still asking me a question now. So how do you want us to have a conversation? I said, did the prophet doubt what God gave him?
No.
Thank you. So why does he need to go and ask anything to
clarify if what is revealed to him is the
But he never doubted. Why would he go for clarification there?
But if he doubted, God told him to go ask those people, right?
Look at the end of that. Let's finish the verse. Let's finish the verse for clarity. Okay. It says, so if you are in doubt of what we have revealed to you, second person pronoun, then ask those who read the book before you, second person pronoun. Then he says, the truth has certainly come to you, second person pronoun, from your Lord. So do not be of the doubters.
Yes. And who are the people reciting the book before him?
My God. Let's read the context.
Who are the people reciting the book before him?
Let's read the context. The context starts from 93. Are you with me? 93 says, and we have certainly accommodated the children of Israel in a sincere accommodation and provided them with good things. But they did not dispute until the knowledge came to them. Indeed, your Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection concerning what they have been disputing. Right? So these are the children of Israel who read the book because they were given the book of Moses before Muhammad was given his.
Okay.
Are you getting my point? So now, Muhammad never doubted the book he was given. Why will he go asking them anything?
I'm telling you that they got the book of Moses. The book of Moses, the laws that were given to Moses came after they crossed Egypt. I'm asking you, there is no proof of Israelites ever doing a ritual prayer in Egypt. You can never find it. You
what?
Are just
No, wait. Quran chapter 10, verse 87, we just read. Can you?
That's you.
Wait.
Why should I believe you? Did God authorize you?
No, did I say, Wesam, please, don't be emotional. Where did I say you should believe me?
Then why should I believe you? You're saying they're establishing prayer.
No, Wesam, you are a caller. You are asking me a question. Did I ask you to believe me?
You are saying that they are establishing litany.
Yes, and I can prove that.
You are telling everybody that they were establishing litany.
Yes, they did.
They were not even given revelation at that point.
So prove to me where they are not given revelation, because it clearly shows they have been given. Oh wait, you don't have the Torah. You don't have the Torah.
You don't
Please.
have the book of Moses today? We don't have the
book of Moses is not the Torah. We don't call the book of Moses. Listen. Listen. Let me make a statement. The book of Moses, when you came here, I told you emphatically, you can never prove to me from the Quran where it says Moses was given the Torah. First of all, if you can prove me wrong, can you prove that?
If you knew what Torah means, you wouldn't ask that question.
I said, can you prove to me where it says Moses was given something called Torah in the Quran?
No.
Thank you. So now don't come with me with an argument from the Bible and think you can superimpose it on me when we are discussing the Quran here, please. I never said, but
verse 49, doesn't God say we can use the book of Moses?
Chapter what?
Chapter 28, verse 49.
And he says we can use, listen to the statement. You say we can use the book of what?
God says in chapter 28, verse 49.
That he says we can use. That's what you're saying.
Let me finish. Don't interrupt me, okay?
No, wait. Wait. Wesam.
Don't interrupt me. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
I said listen to me. Listen to me. Okay, I need to set a standard. No. Wait. Wait.
Let me finish. You didn't even
I hate this kind of rude people when they don't want things to be set precise. This is the verse he was trying to quote, 28:49. He made a claim saying that we should use the book of Moses. The Quran never says that. Let's check. The messenger was asked to tell them, say, then bring a book from God, which has better guidance than both, that I may follow. It is a condition, because God is telling the messenger that they can never bring a book from God. Are you getting the point? He is not telling us to go and follow the book of Moses. It is a condition. It is a statement. Then bring. If you read the context above, but when the truth came to them from us, they said, why was he, that is Muhammad, not given like the what? Like that which was given to Moses. That is what the children of Israel said. So then God says, or did they not disbelieve in what was given to Moses? Before they said, two sorceries supporting each other. And they said, indeed, we are disbelievers in both. So now God told the messenger, say, then bring a book from God, which has better guidance than both, which is the Quran and the book of Moses, that I may follow it, if you should be truthful. Where is God saying we should follow the book of Moses? Please, Wesam, talking with you is not productive. Can you type your comment down there? Where does it say in that verse that we should follow the book of Moses? Wesam, stop calling. Type. Where does it say we should follow the book of Moses? Because I think people who claim to be from, some of you people coming from the English country, you still struggle with English. I beg to differ in this issue. Seriously. Let me call this person back from UK. I wanted to do 2 hours, but unfortunately, let me call this person back. Yeah, your name and where you're calling from.
Abbas, I'm calling from England.
Nice to meet you, brother. How may I help you?
I have one question. So I was reading the Quran, right? And so from my understanding, hold on, let me get the thing. Oh yes, so from my understanding, 4:157, 4:158, and chapter 3, verse 52 and 55, Allah does tawaffa, and He does warafaka on Jesus as like a plan, as a plot against, like, to spoil the plan the Jews had against Jesus, right? So basically, he had a plan. So the Jews were plotting against Jesus, and Allah had a plot to foil their plans, and His plan involved doing tawaffa and then rafi'aka on Jesus, right?
What is your question exactly?
My question would be, well, this is the first part. My question is, Allah does tawaffa and ra'ifaka 2,000 years ago, right? Because that's when the Jews were plotting against Jesus.
What exactly are you trying to say? I don't understand your point. Are you trying to say Jesus, God is saying in the Quran that Jesus was not killed? He raised him. He took his life away and raised him to him. That's what God meant in that verses. I just want to understand, what is your question and what is your point?
I'm asking, so 4:158, it says, certainly they did not kill him. No, God raised him to himself. So instead of the Jews crucifying Jesus, God raised him to himself. So in place of the Jews being the ones that crucified Jesus, no, that didn't happen. Instead, what happened was God raised him to himself. And then 3:55, it talks about how God raising, doing tawaffa on Jesus and then raising him. And
stop using the word tawaffa. Use the English word. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say God took him away? He took his soul away. Yes, he took Jesus away. So they never killed Jesus. They never crucified him.
Yeah, but I'm saying this happened. He did this when Jews were plotting against Jesus. So 2,000 years ago, right?
It doesn't mention the year. Well, the year they are giving us doesn't mean it's a precise calendar. It's a precise years. But is it what you want to know precisely? Is it about the years ago it happened, or?
It doesn't mention the years. That's right, but it's talking about when the Jews were plotting against Jesus, right? That's when Allah did talk.
Yeah, there was a plot, and here, if you read, let's start from, let's say, for instance, let's start from. Okay, let me start from 153. I'm going to read from 150. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to read. Let him. It will be a bit snappy. Let's go. 153 says, the people of the book ask you, that is the prophet, to bring down to them a book from the sky, but they had already asked Moses greater than that when they said, show us God publicly. So the thunderbolt seized them for their wrongdoing. Then they took the calf after what had come to them of proofs. But we overlooked that and we gave Moses a clear authority. And we raised the mounts above them for their covenant. And we said to them, enter the gate in obeisance. And we said to them, do not trespass on what? On the Sabbath. And we took a heavy covenant from them. 155, because of what they violated of their covenant and their disbelief in the verses of God, and their killing of the prophets without right, and their saying, our hearts are enveloped. Rather, God has sealed them for their disbelief, so they do not believe except a little. And for their disbelief and their saying of a terrible slander against Maryam, that is Mary. And they are saying, indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of God, while they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him. But it was a resemblance for them. Indeed, those who differed about it are in doubt thereof. They have no knowledge about it. They only follow assumption, for they did not kill him suddenly. In fact, God raised him to him, for God is almighty and wise. So this is the summary of the question you are asking for. So when we read throughout the context, we can see among the children of Israel, those who disbelieve, which today some people will call the Jews, they are the ones who were claiming they killed the Messiah. But God is saying they are lying.
Yeah, I know they only follow assumption. I know.
Yes.
I understand. I know. I read the context. I understand the verses. But this is only the first part, though. But then, when I read chapter 5, verses 109 to 119, it's in the context of Allah talking to the messengers, where He gathers the messengers at the Day of Judgment, and then He speaks to the messengers and their people, right? And then He asks Jesus, right? Did you tell the people to worship yourself and Mary as gods besides Himself? And Jesus says, no, I do not know what is. I do not know. I only know what. I do not know. I forget what He says. Wait. He says.
The verse is on the screen. Let me help you. And when God will say, "Oh Jesus, son of Mary, did you say to the people, take me and my mother as gods besides God?" He, Jesus, will say, "Glory be to you. It was not for me to have said what I have no right. If I had said it, then you would have known it. You know what is in my soul, but I do not know what is in yourself. Indeed, you are the knower of all unseen." Then it continues. I, Jesus, told them just what you commanded me, that worship God, my Lord and your Lord. And I was a witness over them as long as I was among them. But when you caused me to die, you became the observer over them, for you are a witness over all things. 118. And if you punish them, then indeed they are your servants. But if you forgive them, then indeed you are the Almighty, the wise. So that's the point.
Yeah. So Jesus is saying on the Day of Judgment that that ever since you did tawafa on me, and we know that Allah did tawafa on him 2,000 years ago, or whenever the Jews were plotting against Jesus, right? Whenever, since then to the Day of Judgment, because Jesus is speaking at the Day of Judgment, Allah has been the witness over them, not Jesus, because Jesus says, I was only a witness against them when I was among them, but then
when he was alive,
yeah. So then that would mean he can't obviously return, right? Because that would mean because he's not a witness in that.
No, he's not returning till the Day of Judgment. Jesus is never coming back.
Yeah, but when it says, "Did you tell the people?" What does it mean by the people? Is it talking about like everyone in the world, or what is it?
No. We do have, if you read through history, you see some countries, even in terms of Christianity, some people worship Mary. Do you know that? For instance, in Italy, we have people who worship Mary. Is it Santa Maria? They call it Santa Maria. Is it Santa Maria? Please, people, help me in the comment section. They worship Mary. We have people, you see a lot of countries, even in, I think in Mexico, is also Mexico. Some people worship Mary. They put the statue of Mary and they bow down in front of it and worship it as God. So throughout history, this is something which is factual, that God is not lying to us. It is something that people are claiming. Jesus told people that God, he is God and his mother is God. because they are claiming Jesus is the Son of God. So we have certain people who worship Mary and they think she's a god also.
Okay, but I'm asking, is what God is asking, did you say to the people, is the people only referring to people who worship Jesus and Mary?
No, the people he was with, because he gave you the context. He says, I was among them.
Yeah, I was
he says,
among them.
among them. So when he was among the people, remember, Jesus was a sign not only to the children of Israel, but for mankind at the time when he existed. Because remember, nations also existed when Jesus was alive. It wasn't only children of Israel who existed at that time.
Yeah, and Jesus also says, I said to them to only worship you.
Exactly. So it wasn't only children of Israel who witnessed Jesus. There were all the other nations as well.
So when it says the people is just people in general.
In general, at his time, when he was alive, at the time he was. That is in his timeline.
It can't only refer to the people at the time because it says because it talks about how God is a witness over them even after he's dead.
Yes, so God is witnessing what is happening, just like I just told you about people who worship Mary. We can see it, right? We will see it happening. People worship the statue of Mary as God.
So it's talking about humankind at the time of Jesus and then after?
And after, because God became a witness over after. So whatever God has witnessed, he's using that to question Jesus. Were you the one who told people to worship you and your mother as gods? Are you getting the point?
Yeah, because basically I just want to like prepare myself if I were to argue with a Sunni in the future, whether Jesus is returning or not. And I was thinking to myself, maybe the Sunni could say, when it says it's referring to the people, when it says the people, it's only referring to people who worship Mary and Jesus. And when Jesus will return, those people will no longer exist. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, when prophets and messengers existed, the things they tell their people, even if they are after their demise, people still carry on certain heritage, and then they start implementing things which the messengers or prophet never told them. So in order for God to confirm that, he has to question the messengers. Was it this you told your people, or is it this you told your people? Are you getting that point? So let me give you let me give you a verse. Wait. If you go to Quran chapter 7 verse 6, here God says, therefore we will question those to whom it was sent, and we will question the messengers. And then he says, then we will narrate to them by knowledge, for we were not absent. Did you hear the verses I just read?
Therefore we will question those to whom it was sent, and we will question the yeah, I understand, yes.
So every messenger likewise will be questioned concerning what he was sent with and to the people he was sent to. So God says, for we were not absent, because God is watching everything.
Yeah.
You get the point?
I understand, but like I'm saying the Sunni, what if the Sunni says, when Jesus is returning, so at the last hour when Jesus is returning, he's saying that his people no longer believe that Jesus and Mary are gods. They only believe Jesus is God, not Mary.
They can only bring that from the Hadith. They cannot back it up from the Quran.
Yeah, but they could. What do you mean? They can back it up with just general Christian trends. Christians nowadays don't really believe Mary is God.
Not generally. Some Christians still believe Jesus is God. Mary is God. They worship Mary. You should do your research. You find out some countries worship Mary as a God.
But that's like a minority. Stop.
Well, whether it's a minority or majority, you cannot tell right now, because there is no census of that at the moment.
But what if the Sunni says, yeah, those people will die out and then Jesus will return?
Yeah, still is based on assumption. Allow the Sunnis to say what they want, so far as they cannot back it from the Quran.
And And okay, I understand, but they're wrong either way, because the people is not only referring to like a group of people that worship Jesus and Mary. It's referring to like people in general.
Yeah. The statement is people in general, because people, like I said, traditions carry on. People take certain statements, whether it's fabricated, they pass it on to other people. You understand? So if you read Quran chapter 103, verse 1 to verse 3, it says, Wala asr inna li insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. The main lesson in this chapter I just read is God says by the error, the human being is in lost. Then he says, except those who believe and act righteous and hand down with what? The truth, and hand down with the patience. So we have people who can hand down with the truth, whilst we have people who can hand down with falsehood. So falsehood can keep going generations after generations, while some people can pass down the truth and it keeps going generation after generation. So falsehood can be passed down from the time of Jesus. For people who witnessed Mary at the time of Mary and Jesus, we have people, to be honest, I can tell you, we have people who can take them as gods and be worshiping them.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and I have a question on another verse.
Okay.
So last
yeah.
question. It's on it's the one where I forget what number it is. It's the one where Allah says He does istawa after He creates the heavens and the earth in 6 days.
Are you talking about Quran chapter 11?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. That is Quran chapter 11, verse 7. Can you see my screen?
What does it say at the end?
Are you talking about istawa, or are you talking about the one which says His throne is upon the water?
I'm talking about when He does istawa on His throne.
Okay, so what is the question precisely? Then I pull the verse up. What exactly you want to ask?
I want to ask, right? In the verse it says that His is the creation and the command, and then in the context it talks about the moon, it talks about the earth, it talks about the heavens, and then after that He creates all of that in 6 days, and then it talks about how all the creation is subjected to His command, right? And so when it says and His is the creation in the context is referring to the moon, the earth, the heavens, the sun, and etc. And then it says and His is the command. The command is referring to the command that the creation is subjected to by Allah. So, but then wouldn't that mean that the command is uncreated? It's separate to creation.
Command. When we say command, is a word. So we are talking about, for instance, let me use this chapter and see. If you go to Quran chapter 36 verse 82, it says, "Innama amru iza arada shay'an an yakula lahu kun fayakun." It says, whenever He intends something, His command is only to say to it, be, then it becomes.
So kun is command.
Yeah, it's a command. To be, it means to be. It's a command. So he used that for the human beings as well. He used it for a lot of things that He created, to be. So He's telling you, whenever God intends something, His command is only to say to be, then it becomes. So word, when you take a word, before you say a word, you intend the word in the head before you say it out, right?
Yeah.
So it comes from an intention. So now it's telling you in terms of God giving a command, He intends the command.
The verse is 754, chapter 7, verse 54. I want to go there first. I need to read
7 verse 64, you mean? Okay.
754.
754.
Yeah.
Okay. So indeed, your Lord is God, the one who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then sat firmly on the throne. He causes the night to cover the day, and by His request, rapidly. And the sun and the moon and the stars are subjugated by His command. Verily, to Him belongs the creation and the command. Then he says, blessed is God, the Lord of the worlds.
Yeah, so the creation here is the stars, the moon, and the stars, the moon, and the night, and etc. And then it's subjected by his command, and then it says, and then it distinguishes his command from the creation.
Yeah.
So his command is not created.
What is the okay? What is the point here? I don't get the point here.
Well, the Sunnis use these verses to prove the Quran is uncreated because his command is not his command is uncreated, and then the verse you showed in Yunus, it shows that the command is Allah's speech, because kun is Allah's speech.
Yes, so he uses the kun to make a creation. So that is the same thing.
Yeah, but what is kun? Kun is Allah's speech.
Kun is to be. When something when God says something should be, when he's creating, that's what he does. Before God created the human being, he intended it before creating it, isn't it?
Yeah, but but when he creates something, he says be kun.
When he what?
He says when he creates something, he says kun.
Yes, so that is a command.
Yeah, but that means command. Amr just means Allah's speech, and the Quran is Allah's speech, no?
You are taking it in the lane of the Quran. Okay, let's understand this breakdown. In Quran chapter 43, verse 4, right? When I start,
you agree that Amr is uncreated, right?
What is exactly the point? Are you talking about the Quran or are we talking about the Amr?
The Quran is Amr. The Quran is Allah's command.
Help me out. Where does it say that?
Because I'm pretty sure there's verses that say that specifically, explicitly. Is there not?
No. I want to know where did God say the Quran is the Amr of God?
Well, even if it doesn't say that, the point is Amr is just synonymous with Allah's speech, and the Quran is Allah's speech.
Yes, it's the speech of God. Yes.
Anytime Allah speaks, that's Amr. Anytime that Allah
okay,
speaks,
so let's understand this. Look, Quran chapter 43, verse 3 to verse 4. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Indeed,
okay.
It is in the source.
No, I'm starting from verse 3. Indeed, we have made it an Arabic reading. Perhaps you will reason. Then he says what? Indeed, it is in the source book with us, the supreme and wise.
Are you talking about where it says have made it?
Yeah, it's connected. Verse 3 and verse 4 are connected.
I know. I'm asking, is your argument that this is the Quran is made?
That's what it says.
Okay, what's the problem?
No, I'm showing you the verse, the way what God says. I don't want discussions where it's going on an opinion. I want things that can be proven. So I agree
with the verse.
So I'm showing you what the Quran says based on what the Quran is and what is with God. So even though God has made it an Arabic reading, he says, indeed, it is in the source book with us. So meaning it is with God as well. So God has a copy of the same book. But I don't get the main issue where people are trying to make the Quran as more like what is the point if we say the Quran is a creation? What is the issue?
Sunnis say the problem is if you say Allah's because Quran is Allah's speech and Kalam Allah is an attribute of Allah,
but God has made, here is God specifically telling us in chapter 43 verse 3. He says, indeed, we have made it. When something is made, is it creation or not?
It is, yes.
Thank you. So that's where the argument ends.
Okay, no. When it says made it,
yeah.
How do you know that's not referring to the mushaf?
Read it. This is in front of you. We have made it. Okay, let's continue let's start from above.
That's
chapter.
No,
wait. I don't like using opinions. I like things where it can be proven. I don't like when people who say things they can prove.
Okay, but I gave you the Quran verses too. You didn't really respond to me.
No, that's the response I'm giving you here. You want to
but you're using the Quran to respond to the Quran. That's not like.
Oh my God, I'm using the Quran to respond to the Quran. I'm responding to you.
Okay, but what is your interpretation of the other?
I don't have interpretation. I'm giving you what the Quran says. Look, I'm starting from 43 verse 2. It says, by the clear book. Please help me out. What did you say your name is?
Okay, sure. The Quran is created, but the speech, anytime Allah creates something, that speech He uses to create is uncreated.
Do you see how ridiculous your statement sounds?
Okay, what do you think? Why does it say the creation and the command? Why does it say and command?
God normally does that. He never even says the book and the wisdom. He even says the
book is not wisdom. The wisdom is inside of the book.
I'm helping you out, please. I said God does that. He can say the book and the wisdom. He will distinguish it, but you can find one in the other. That's simple logic here. You can find the command of God in the creation of God also. Or can't you find the command of God in the creation of God? And can't you find the creation of God in the command of God? That's why I gave you the evidences using verses. This is
look in the context. On the context, when it says the creation, it's referring to the sun and the moon.
Well, that is what you are giving your interpretation.
That's what the verse says.
No, but that is your interpretation. Does it mean that's the only creation of God? The sun and the moon? No, I'm asking you, is that the only creation of God?
No.
Thank you. So if you go to this extent, your argument, all your argument you're trying to bring to me right now is a Quranic creation. I prove to you, the Quran was made. It's a book. God brought it to us and it's made. So that is a creation. Argument ends. There's nothing like, oh, speech of God, this. No. Please, let's not go to that extent.
Okay, wait. But, okay. Does the command comes after the 6 days, right?
Which command of what?
When it says, all subject, when in the verse it says, all subjected by his command. That's after he creates in the 6 days.
The verse says, indeed, your Lord is God, the one who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then sat firmly on the throne. He causes the night to cover the day. So we see that he even talks about he causes the night to cover the day by his requests. You see, he mentioned requests rapidly. Then he says, and the sun and the moon and the stars are subjugated by his command. Then he says, verily, to him belongs the creation, because those things he mentioned are all creation. And then the command, remember, it talks about yet lubuhu, meaning by his request. And request is based on a command.
Exactly. So it's not the same thing.
Oh my God.
Okay, wait. Do you not understand what it means for him to sit firmly on the throne? That means he starts commanding over creation.
Brother, it's okay. Let's leave it here. My program has gone very long already. You said the last question, but we are prolonging the issue. It's boring. So please let's move. Let me move on to another issue. Thank you. This is not an issue for me to prolong on. Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is where I bring to the guy was asking me an irrelevant question, the Sunni type of questions. Is the Quran a creation? Is that I just proved to you the Quran is made. So it's a creation. That's it. Argument ends. I don't know why they want to go into the circle, speech of God. Ladies and gentlemen, correctional officer, this is where I bring this topic to an end. Let me see. Did somebody try calling me? These brothers tried to call me, but let me see. A brother tried calling me. I don't know. Can I pick him up? But I think it's okay. I'm going to TikTok anyways. Please join me. I might be there for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. I don't want the YouTube video to be very long. People find it boring watching. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly rewatch the program again to benefit from the points you want to take and benefit from. I appreciate your support, and thank you all for the support, and then the gift for those on TikTok. I appreciate that as well. Thank you very much, Imran Khan, Nara Power. Thank you very much. We have S Faraj. Thank you. I appreciate your support. All of you, Risha Green, JS, Brother Jam, Shurulini. Shurulini says he is a troll. He did this same thing last time on our stream. Then he started laughing like, yeah, I noticed the laughing. That's why I just dropped him. You know, some people are not sincere with the way they approach things. When they are trying to be comical, then I take him off. That's it. Yeah, somebody says the guy need factory. He needed it. Yes, he needed. Abdul Salam Ali says patience, Baba. Abdul Salam, I wish you are in my position. I don't think you even master half of my patience. I'm serious. Abdul Salam, you try it and see. You can never master half of my patience, what I deal with on daily basis. Thank you very much, Rizal Zanda. Somebody says send me the link, Baba. Which link? Okay. Hamza, yeah, salam to you. Mensur, brother Mensur, thank you. I'm going to TikTok. Yes, you can join me on TikTok. Mama de Pedro, thank you very much. Yes, OG Store. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I bring the topic to an end. Till we meet again next week, inshallah. I'm jumping to TikTok now. Kindly join me. Let's have fun before I go. So this is where I say shalom to you all. Peace.